And we're live. I turned it on. It's recording.
Go.
Time. And where were you when the blue car pushed you off the side of the freeway into the ravine and you almost died?
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
Okay, I just made that up. All right. So let's check the camera settings here. Yeah, there's one. How's everybody doing?
Good. Doing good. We got some new people here.
We got some new people here. I got there's Max's camera. Yeah. So what's up, fellas? How's it going?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome.
How are you?
Oh man, living the dream. Sunday right now, and just play a little music.
Yeah. What have you been up to for the last 2 weeks? We missed last week.
We did.
Due to storms that are still going for like.
Oh man, it's been crazy.
Month.
It's been crazy around here. It's like the first day since that it's been nice. I got to get used to these cameras. I'm not sure which the angles are right now.
Well, our buddy Nick here's from the UK visiting.
I am indeed. Yeah.
And it rains a lot there.
It does rain a lot, yeah.
So is it? Yeah, did you bring it here?
It's his fault. I think I did.
So is it raining like a lot to you now, or is that kind of just the norm there?
When it rains here, it really fucking rains. Like in England, it's a bit more mild, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, It usually seems like it never rains here, and it's pretty mild. We're just getting hit right now.
I've wanted to come here for
El
so
Nino.
many years because of the sunshine and the surf, and when I come here, I've just had 6 weeks of fucking rain. Yeah.
Is this the first time that you've been to California?
To California, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but not the States.
Nah, I've been to other places. Yeah.
This is the best state, I think.
You think?
That's my guess. But I haven't really been to a lot of states either.
You're also from here, yeah?
I'm also from here, so
A little bit of bias.
I'm a little bit biased. It's but California is pretty badass, I think, if you take away
Palmdale.
If you take away Palmdale. Yeah, if you take away what is it about California I don't like? Maybe Southern California is a little too crowded.
Yeah, well, all California is too crowded.
Oh man, yeah. Well, some areas are pretty not too bad.
But the people down there are just a little more crazy.
Yeah, Southern California definitely has a way different vibe.
I guess you have crazy up here too. It's just it's a different kind.
It's kind of a It's a
more my type of crazy.
It's a Ted Kaczynski style crazy. Yeah. So what's going on, man? How you guys doing?
Good.
What's so what's going on? What happened yesterday?
Go, okay.
Speaking of the floods,
Who starts?
You've got to start because it was your idea.
Well, that's the first problem, I guess.
Oh.
Well, we have outdoor adventures, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to try new things, and when things come along that you can't do very often, you try and take advantage and seize the moment. And
Right.
as we talked about, there's been some torrential rain.
It's more flooding than I've seen ever in 6 years of living up here.
I've learned that there are multiple types of flooding, actually.
Oh, really?
There's aerial flooding, flash flood, and coastal flooding.
Fuck's an aerial flood?
It just means the whole area is flooded.
I was thinking aerial.
That was the same thing, and I've had that conversation with it was like, it's coming, yes, it's raining, but...
It's just a large area?
Yeah.
So what are we dealing with now out of those? Flash flood?
Right now, we're out of all of those. So the flash flood, I think, has to do with the speed of when it happens. And aerial flood...
right.
So it's not like it's a what's happening right now type of thing. It's
Yeah.
not like that flood over the last month was one of these.
Yeah.
It's right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's faster, it's flash, but then if it's just flooding in an area, it's aerial.
So we've been dealing with all three over the last month or so.
Oh, shit.
Which has led our rivers to, like, the Felton Covered Bridge, the water's normally like 15 feet below it, and it's touching it. It was like covered in the park.
Oh
The
my
houses
God.
there had to get evacuated. And, yeah, I mean, the creek behind my house, have you seen it since it's been flooding?
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's like a raging river, right?
Yeah.
So these guys decided to kayak
The river?
from Felton to downtown yesterday because his car was downtown.
Yeah, no shit. In that creek?
Yeah.
The East Ziante Creek?
So we technically put in Ziante, which quickly after that turns into the San Lorenzo.
Oh, wow.
I imagine the San Lorenzo is going a lot more than the
So we
creek in my
literally
house.
put our wetsuits on in my driveway and walked down the hill to the creek.
Yeah.
How many miles would you say that is? Like 9 miles complete
I
if you
think
went all the way
so.
downtown?
We
Go
did from the San Lorenzo starts at Castle Rock and goes to the ocean, and it's 20 total miles.
Fuck.
Oh,
So
okay.
I would guess we're 10 or under.
Yeah.
I was guessing 9, but then I heard about that, so I think it's.
I know the hike is like 7.5 miles where I go
Yeah.
from downtown
And
just
you're
to
pretty
like,
well walking along the river during that time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the river's probably a little longer than that. So I would say
Add
9 or
another
10
mile
miles.
up to kind of the
Yeah.
Mount Herman area.
Are you guys so? And you guys survived it, obviously.
We're here. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Survived is the right word.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has been several people who've tried it over the past couple of weeks or months, and I've seen they've had to come out and get rescued.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people
Whoa.
maybe have done it and
Yeah.
made it, but you only hear about the ones that have to.
So
be
what
rescued.
happens? Or
Well-
what happens when? How do you get? How do you get stuck in such a bad bind you need rescuing?
Well,
Well, those people might have like
They
just,
just
been
suck.
flipped over, and then they're
Yeah.
just floating down the river and can't
Totally.
swim out.
Ill prepared.
Or a log could come
Absolutely.
knock you upside the head.
Yeah,
and knock you
yeah.
out.
What
our
happened to you
decision
guys?
of when to do it was it's rained and let the water come down. So our thought was that anything that was big that was gonna move has moved.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So we're avoiding obstacles already there, not moving obstacles.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where did you drop in?
Yeah,
At
house,
Re-
yeah.
so at 100 yards from my house.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much there.
So yeah, Felton, right there, kind of.
Wow. So you guys lost the kayak.
Well, yeah, we
For a
saw
while.
this
For a
as like
while.
a legendary thing though, because we met last year
Uh huh.
and we kept talking about adventures that we've had together
Oh.
that we could possibly have,
Uh huh.
and we just didn't have the equipment there or what the
And this
resources.
started as an idea in the fall, maybe sooner, with a guy that we work with, Robbie.
Uh-huh.
And we were like, we have ocean kayaks, they're sit on tops. We don't have to worry about learning to roll. I mean,
Yeah.
It's pretty
kinda
easy. Yeah.
can. He's can roll. But we just chose to sit on top because it's just easier to deal with in certain aspects.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to defend myself as
Yeah.
a bit of a kayaker there.
You are okay.
It's obviously fucking so much harder on a sit on top. That's just
Yeah.
because if we had two kayaks,
You said sitting top.
Sit
Sit on top.
there's
Sit on
two-
top.
Two type of kayaks.
Uh huh.
There's the sit on top, which is like a bit of plastic, and you sit on top of it. So it's
Oh.
on top of it.
Oh, okay.
So if the kayak rolls, you just you
Done.
don't have to
no
deal with
water.
entrapment.
It can't be swamped.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's great for kids and beginners. That's why it's from his work because they got it for the kids. you don't have to
Gotcha.
do it. But a kayak with a cockpit, if you sink it and you leave, all the water fills it.
Oh, and it's
it
gone.
just goes off. So
That's what you had
but
to.
that's what we wanted. Is we
Oh.
wanted one of those, but we got stuck with a sit on top, which is what made
Oh.
it even more stupid.
And you're not really maneuverable, right? Because in the sit end, you use your hips to kind of
yeah,
guide.
absolutely.
it.
So it's just like trying to use your
Holy shit.
arms. Yeah.
So how far did you make it down the
Well,
path,
I don't know.
the river?
A few miles.
Yeah.
Two miles.
Yeah, maybe. We were doing really well at the start.
And what class rapids do you think you were seeing? Like at least
Up until
Before
that
the-
one, nothing.
Well,
Maybe a one or
Yeah,
a
so
couple of
up to that
ones.
point there was at least a couple of ones,
So-
a couple of twos, which was really nice on a sit on top because you like
Fun,
rock up and
somewhat
down.
mellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun.
So did anybody almost die?
Well,
You almost
the
die?
problem with this river was neither of us had ever done it.
Ah.
We'd seen it once, but from fucking like 100 feet in the air.
Oh shit.
And when you're up in the air, like from the pathway, from the rail tracks near it, when you look down, it looks like a fine river. It doesn't look like anything crazy. So we're like, oh, there's nothing going to be happening here.
Yeah.
Hold
The
my
problem
beer.
with it-
Hold my
yeah,
beer.
Absolutely. And the problem with it is there's such steep banks that when you're actually on the river, you can't get out and inspect, and there's hardly any breaks in the river that you can like pull off to the
Ah.
side and have a little look. So we were being stupid really and just being like going around blind corners, and if you see like a horizon line in the river, you're meant to stop, but we just kept going. And we got to this point where we were like, yeah, I reckon we can
This
do
is-
it. We get around the corner. So we do these two rapids, and it's like, oh yeah, that was really fun. And we go around the corner, and
It's over.
I just shit myself. Yeah, we just looked at it, and it was just like a.
Was that shitbuster? Was that the word?
I don't know what to say.
Oh, he shit himself.
I shit
Oh,
myself.
Oh,
absolutely.
after.
Shitbuster.
Yeah,
I like that.
Shitbuster. We can
Alright.
do shitbuster. And we filmed it on our GoPros, and there's a moment I kept watching it where we're going over these waves and it's getting bigger, and I'm going, it's all right, it's all right, it's all right. And every time we get to the top of the wave, I'm looking down what's coming up, and I'm going,
Oh fuck.
maybe a bit faster, maybe a bit faster. And then we just went sideways. into
Both
this.
of you.
Both of us on the same kayak, yeah, absolutely.
So we're in, a
Whoa.
tandem, we're in a tandem kayak.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
that's
no
even
idea.
more
That's a
annoying.
detail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's- sorry, yeah. And also, all of our kit you might need in a rescue is carabined onto the kayak. Okay?
Oh.
So none of us is on us. So we're going down, as I said, we're getting really high. These rapids are getting really fucking big as well.
Getting crazy.
Absolutely. We went sideways into what's known as we call it a stopper, but I think you guys call it a hole,
Oh yeah.
which is where the water gets to like a vertical drop.
Oh
And it
shit.
Makes like a backwards pool, like a
And it
Yeah.
looks like a
thing.
hole in the water.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's
So
just churning water there.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't go fast enough through it, they can pull you back into like the
Oh,
into
yeah.
the drop. But we went down sideways and we were in a sit on top, so we just
Kind of-
flipped instantly. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
shit.
So now we're going down this rapid, which is at least grade 3 plus 4.
And the kayak is just gone. at this
Well, it's two perspectives because I was like, I fell out and I was just like,
It's like optimistic.
absolute survival mode. I didn't think about Curtis or the kayak. I was just like, yeah, I don't fucking like this. I'm just going to swim to the side. So I got to the side, got out, and only when I got out did I realise, oh fuck, Curtis is still with the kayak, and I'm watching him go down. And then I don't really know what.
So you spilled off at first.
We both
Well, no,
came
we
off at the same
came
time.
off at the same time because it's not like it pitched forward or back. It came in and rolled
Okay.
and threw us on our left side, kayak upside down, and
What about the paddle?
We both got them. We both got
You
'em.
held. Okay.
Yeah.
you can
absolutely,
lose
yeah.
the boat, but you never lose your paddle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Never lose your paddle.
You can lose the boat, but don't lose the paddle.
So he's gone. I have no idea where he is. I have no idea. And
I don't
the
know
other
You're just
thing
trying to
is,
survive right now.
Yeah.
We've looked at the footage, and I meant to bring it to show you guys a little bit.
I've got a few pictures on my phone.
Okay, but because he was in the stern, he
The
backed
Yeah.
around and was able to like get around the. But the boat is basically beside me, and I'm moving with it, and I didn't stand much of a chance to get away from it at
Yeah.
the beginning, and so I just held on to the boat and was looking, and that's when it got interesting. How?
I'd be afraid of smacking boulders.
Oh my god, there was a lot of
okay,
boulders
so
as well.
lot of
the one
boulders,
thing,
yeah.
like, he's obviously the much greater experienced paddler. I've not paddled a ton of whitewater, but I've paddled enough to know the basic rule. And so my head was just feet up, feet up, feet up.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be back. And there's a point in that section of video too where, and I kind of remember, I tried to flip the boat back over, which was just the wrong choice because that thing is fucking huge.
So are you scared at this point? Like, what's going through your head?
I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I would go to admit that when I got out and all the adrenaline had gone out and I lost sight of you and seen what had coming up, I was shit myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not.
I was okay because I've floated a few rapids before, where they had been scouted. I knew what those were. I'd floated some before, so I knew what it was to like go under, come back up, go up under,
Yeah.
get a little water in you, spit it out. I was okay with that until I saw 4 foot, 5 foot,
Yeah, fucking big horizon. Yeah,
Fucking big.
a big drop. Yeah, yeah.
and knowing more, you said, and I had no control of this at this point, but I went over a drop that I didn't want to go over.
Well-
And also, I went in the worst possible
Yeah,
place over the
Because
drop.
I remember when we got together again and we were like chatting and that, I was looking up the rapids and I was like looking at them and I remember thinking, you don't want to go down that drop. You absolutely would never want to go down that drop. And then I couldn't believe that. And then when we watched the GoPro footage, I was like, he's gone exactly where you would never want to go. I can't believe he came out of it. To be fair.
So you, how come you didn't go down the drop?
because I was already out. Literally, it takes me.
If
10
you
seconds
watch
to
the
go.
video,
Yeah.
he was out of the water before
Yeah.
I knew what was going on.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
bit embarrassing. I came to terms with it, but it's a bit embarrassing because Curtis is like, "This is my boat. This is my bag. I will stay with
Oh.
this forever." I was like, "Fuck Curtis. Fuck the boat. I'm getting out of the river." And when I was like walking up and down the bank trying to find him, I was like, "How is that going to look on video? Am I going to look heroic or am I going to look like a pussy?" And I think animal mode just switched on. I was like, "No, I'm gone."
Yeah.
Fuck this.
I flipped over and I told you about. I was terrified. I thought I was gonna die.
Absolutely.
I was like,
Just-
that's it.
you
I'm,
can't
it's
control it.
over.
One moment where I did panic, and when I look back at the video, it was maybe 3 seconds of me being underwater.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I felt like I was underwater more than the video showed, but the GoPro is also up here on my head, so
Yeah.
it could have been out of the water and I was under the water at points.
Oh yeah.
Which it felt like in the water, because especially hitting some ripples. But the one that dumped me under, it pushed me under the boat, and the GoPro got stuck on the straps of the
Oh, shit.
boat.
Jesus.
So your
Like
head stuck to the
dangling.
boat.
So at that point, I panicked in that moment, but I know where the buckle is. I know how to get that helmet off, and I had my hand on it, and it came loose, and
Yeah.
I popped back up. But like I was a few seconds from shedding that helmet.
Wow.
And still holding on to the boat at this point, and I was patting the bummer is the videos, it tilted it down so you can't see, but I was still holding on the boat trying to figure out, but the boat's so big and flipped over, I could not maneuver me and the boat to shore. So I let go of the boat, just watched it float down.
Did you get it back? Eventually?
Well, this is so.
This is just the lead in, I guess,
Oh,
to the
Jesus.
story.
Adventure happens when everything goes wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. They call
And the
it
adventure starts
You
when
know, on like a
everything
slot
goes-
machine, you have the lemons. They
Yeah.
call it the free lemon syndrome. And like real big emergencies and disasters are the three things that go wrong. So we've had our first one, I guess. It's like the fact that we fell out of the fucking boat.
So
And then I'd say
we were looking down, and for anybody that doesn't know, river right and left are looking downriver.
Oh, okay.
The trail where we scouted from, everything is river right. Everywhere that I need to be is river right.
yeah, and that's the side
Everywhere
I
that
swam
Nick
out.
is
I'm on
river
I'm on
right.
river right, so I'm solid because I know if I walk up, I'm on a trail and I can just get home and have a cup
Ah.
of tea and I'm done.
Yeah. I'm on river left.
Oh, fuck. River left.
Yes.
And well, first of all, I'm happy to see him. I'm like, oh shit, he's alive.
So I get out and I turn around knowing that he likely got out before me.
Uh-huh.
So
Because
just
I was in
this
the
is
water
insane.
at least 30 seconds longer
yeah,
than
long
you were.
time more than me. Yeah. More water.
And I got out and I couldn't see him. So then I have the panic moment of, okay, is he on land or is he in the water somewhere? And then he scrambles up over a boulder 50 yards back across the river, and I'm like, okay, we're alive.
We're alive.
That
I
was
started screaming. I was like, fucking hell. That was sick.
so
But
by you saying you're on river left, does that mean that he's on the side where he can easily get out and you're
Yes.
stuck like
he's
way?
on the side where
I'm
the railroad
fine.
track
Yeah.
is.
He's
and
fucked.
the
Is it just like
closest-
is it like just
It's so vertical.
vertical?
His
Oh,
side.
wow.
It's like so shit.
I
And
would call it a 60 to 65 degree
It's
angle.
definitely a scramble, isn't it? Yeah, you definitely get.
and
a
it's
scramble.
all like muddy brush,
Muddy
and fallen-
shit.
Yeah.
And it's
I
all
mean,
just
there
falling
are
over
places that are
logs.
boulders. There were a couple places that I scrambled up that, like, if I had fallen, it's like class 4.
Oh, with my foot right now, I'd be so
You're
dead.
fucked. Man.
I'd be so dead.
Well, the other thing I was cursing the whole time was like, where are my goddamn chacos? Like, I wanted to be in my chacos so bad, but I was wearing not even my booties,
Someone
but
else says
And
shit.
I think
Yeah,
maybe
fuck.
we need to start back at the beginning and talk about that. We woke up hungover as fuck before we.
Oh, 'cause we all went out that night.
Yeah.
Which is
Great.
why
So my
his car
is
was downtown. We Ubered
because
home.
I couldn't
Yeah.
drive it home.
Yeah.
Oh,
fuck.
shit.
And every time we planned it and talked about it in the bar, we were like, yeah, we'd need to start at 9 in the morning, and I woke up at like 11:30.
Yeah, we didn't even wake up at
with
9,
a,
much
with a
less
text
start at
saying
9.
Well,
we're
fuck.
doing it today.
Lisa asked me, "Did you want to go with those guys?" And I'm like, "Hell no, I didn't want to go with those guys." Elkhorn Slough is my speed.
And-
That's what I'm saying,
And
too.
literally, like, almost everything we needed was in the car.
Yeah, so we had to borrow.
The PFDs we were going to use, both our wetsuits.
What's a PFD?
Personal flotation.
Oh, okay.
Or
Or
for English listeners,
BA.
buoyancy.
BA for buoyancy.
Buoyancy?
Buoyancy aid.
Buoyancy aid.
It aids in buoyancy.
Buoyancy aid.
Uh-oh.
I've seen that one.
Buoyancy aid.
No booty, but my thought, and luckily we did get booties. I would have been pissed if
Yeah.
I'd
Wait,
done
what kind?
all
What kind of
that
trip was this?
Huh? Yeah.
Just straight up.
Adventure trip. Adventure time. I don't know. So we rounded up the things that we needed, got started. And so now I'm river left, he's river right. And I'm looking at a spot, and it's the narrowest spot in the river. And I contemplated swimming across
It's just
there.
rapid. The thing is,
Right,
the-
50 yards below, there was a rapid bigger than the one I'd already
Yeah.
gone through.
so like the risk was too high, I guess. And I was like pointing at this like eddy, this break in the river that if you get to, it's safe. It's out of the main current. And I was like pointing to that, and he was just nah. And I think
If I hadn't gone down the big drop,
Yeah.
that I might have had the courage to be like, yeah, I could swim that.
yeah.
But after that, my brain was rattled and like I was
oh,
saying
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So
You're like survival mode,
We
fight or
test-
flight, you
Yeah.
know? Just
Yeah,
so the
trying to
first thing we
fucking-
did,
Test the paddle. See if the paddle makes it. I
Just
might
the-
make it.
yeah, the first thing we did was walk downstream, past that to see if there was a break, like it chilled out. We went for 200 yards down,
Oh yeah.
200
And then we met
meters
those on my side. There were these like
And
teenagers
the
eating
place
Pringles and
on his
drinking.
side, like, again, super easy trail to
Yeah.
get down to the river.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I had been there, would have been great.
Absolutely.
But I wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah. I met these because I walked up to these people and they're like, was that your raft going by? And I was like,
Yeah.
well, it's actually a kayak, not a raft. Yeah, it is. And she had the cheek to say, I don't think you should be doing it. It looks too dangerous. I was like, oh yeah, fuck, thanks, man. After my situation.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So we hiked down, but for me to go farther downriver was just like impossible because the rapids got bigger than what we'd seen before, and there was a sheer cliff, so I couldn't stay along the river. Up for the 200 yards from where I got out to where I walked to, I went maybe 10 feet in elevation down and just fall in the river. So it's like, shit, let's go upriver. We know there's a calm spot. It's way up there, but let's go. And we kept checking in with each. We both kind of like move in and away from shore. Or shore, we're not on the ocean, are we?
But
Bank.
I get it.
Yeah.
same thing, innit? Water.
But it got to a point where, again, going that way, it was rock face and rapids. There was no, just like he said, there was no way to scout this thing either.
Oh.
So we got there, and my only option is up.
Now, are you guys like seeing each other across the
Yeah.
water?
Yeah, occasionally.
Yeah.
But there was like a 5-minute break where I thought I don't know if I told you this. I thought you just fucked off, and I was like, well, I guess I'll go back to where the trail is. And I was ready to just be like, I'm off. And
I
then-
guess Curtis had just fucked
Well,
off.
I just thought he was just going to get up and deal with it in some
Yeah.
way, and I was just going to deal with it myself. And I was just like, all right, well,
So what was the plan when you were going to get down there? I mean, this
So
sounds like...
basically, I would go to somewhere that was smooth because there was plenty of places that like you could jump in and swim without a PFD and
Oh,
wetsuit
okay.
on and just be like
Proper
chilling in the
calm,
water.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the objective was to get up to that because up until that point we hit one at the what's the thing at Henry Cow? It's not a dam, but normally there's a water across. Like
I think we
it's
call
kind
it
of like
weird.
a weird.
It's almost like a treatment thing.
It's
or
like a
something,
water
yeah.
treatment plant. But
Oh, okay,
the
like a
water,
pump maybe or
the
something?
water was running all the way over that wall, and we just rolled over that.
Wow.
And then there was a couple other points, but up until that, it was really smooth.
Yeah, so
And so it was like, okay, we know there's a place upriver that I can get across. It's just how do I get there? And the railroad tracks are probably, would you say 80 or 100 feet in elevation
So,
above
make a
the river?
bloody good jump. Yeah.
I had to eventually, I kept going up, and then it was like, well, I can't get across this point. I went double the height of the railroad tracks above in elevation, up like that 65-degree angle. And this isn't like stair stepping. Some of it is scrambling over rocks. Some of it is up mudslides where it felt more like ice climbing, where you're like kicking your foot in
Uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
in like sludge.
Oh my
And you're
God.
like, okay, that's good. That's good. And like 3 points of contact at all times.
And if you'd slip, man, because I was watching you go up, and I was like, if he slips, he's going to be unconscious or dead. And like,
yeah, I was trying not to
and
think
then-
about that,
and then
but
I was
it
just
just
like-
kept creeping in.
I was thinking in my head,
like,
like, what do I do then? Because I can't really go in after him, because then we're both fucked. Or do I just like give him the salute and go explain to like everyone, like, yeah, he just fucking fell. Yeah, it's quite weird to watch.
and the only other thing that I could think about too was the fact that this has just been a slide, and like I'm climbing up these things that it's like a big tree's taking out all these branches, and I'm not. Some of the times I wasn't even on ground. I was on branches that are like, and I couldn't tell how
Covered
far
in
the
mud
ground-
and
yeah.
stuff?
So if you've ever seen a slide, usually it's a couple of big trees take out of it, and it's like branch. And so it was like, okay, I've got to hold here. This foot might be, whoop, nope, and
Yeah.
like it goes through. But I wasn't even touching ground sometimes. It would
weird.
break.
You're like inside the tree.
Or like on the tree.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Yeah.
on a tree with the branches on the side. Yeah, basically.
Wow. So how high was the? I'm trying to picture this. So I see this kind of rushing river, and then you're in kind of a ravine, right?
Like very, very steep.
And it's very steep, and there's obviously a mudslide. And how tall was the bank? You know, like to get to
Elevation
safety.
above that I had to go up and over the one spot was probably 150 feet in elevation.
Fuck, that
Genuinely.
is up there.
fucking hard.
And it
So, yeah,
was
the-
one of those things too of the only answer is up.
Uh huh.
Like even if I got to a point, you're scrambling right or left to go up more because down was not an option.
Oh shit! Because that's back to the water, right?
Back
Yeah,
to the
that's
water, back to where I had to swim across.
Oh, yeah.
/ going down shit like that is
And the
way
boat is
harder.
down the river somewhere. It's gone. You
Well,
guys.
in the downstream search to find a spot
place
for me
is-
to cross,
Yeah.
He had really easy walking there. He spotted the boat downstream.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
really?
stuck on some reeds. So I shouted, "Fuck yeah!"
So the river, like, if we had paddled through there, our route through there is way left, and it was on the right.
yeah, but that was just like that wasn't even. I looked at it and you tell it's just not going anywhere. It's just been there
It's
for
just-
ages. It's just stuck.
Yeah.
I was like, right, we can forget about that. Just find Curtis, and at that so
Yeah,
we were just
get
like,
safety first, right?
Get Curtis alive, because I know in the fucking kayak was your keys, your phone, your wallet, like the three things you never want to lose.
Yeah.
They're all in there, and my underwear was in there as well, one pair. So it was like
That's
Interesting.
really
all the
You're
essentials-
highly
Interesting.
incentivized
all
to
the
reclaim that
essentials, I need
boat.
to get them back, man. Like, they need to. But we looked after him first. Eventually, we found when you got down.
So, but it took me over an hour. I mean, do you know how long? I mean, you didn't have time.
How much daylight do you have left at this point?
So yeah,
So-
shit.
So at this, we started our journey at 1:45 p.m.,
Which was late.
which was
Which was
very,
not really-
Yeah.
very.
'Cause you
late.
tell
Because it's gonna be dark in a few hours.
But
2 or 3
5 o'clock
hours.
We were also we had a there's some pretty funny video of us having a discussion trying to determine how fast we're moving down the river.
Oh,
because
okay.
even when we weren't paddling, we were probably moving at 2 to 3 miles an
Fucking-
hour. And when we were paddling, even in the flat sections, we were probably moving at 4 or 5.
Fast, yeah, man.
And you know, with the river being, we're guessing we're running 10 miles. We're like, oh, we're gonna haul ass and this is gonna be fine. Or like,
Yeah.
that gives us plenty of time to get out and scope things.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever. So by the time I got back to his side, we went. I finally got up. That took me over an hour to get back across the
Yeah.
river.
yeah.
And you just found an easy spot where you can just kind of swim across?
Yeah, so I went way up and then slowly came back down because I could still see rapids here until we got to a pretty smooth section. Even when I got there, I think it was good. I think I could have made it from where I first got the river, but you're
Yeah.
like, obviously, the farther
just
up
no
you
point,
go, the
isn't
more
it?
time
Yeah.
you have because there is a rapid around the corner.
Hmm.
But made it across. Funny little moment of I was on his side. We were 20 meters from each
We'd
other.
seen each other, but we hadn't like physically touched it. We hadn't.
But
even
it was
done
kind of
that.
rough through here to get, and I was like, okay, but we both thought the other one was coming to each other.
So I was.
So
like,
I kept going that way, waiting on him to pop out up here, and then popping back, like, okay, but he's still there, and then went back, and he's just holding place, thinking that I'm coming to him.
Yeah.
So he's like, I think this is a trail, and to him it's like, okay, so walk up this trail, and to me it's like, oh, we'll walk down that trail now. And I'm just standing there, and like 5 minutes goes by, and he's like, there's a trail there, and I was like, all right, go on then. And then 10 minutes by, I go, are you fucking coming? He's like,
He fucked off again.
you're coming here, mate.
No, he fucked up.
Yeah. And then when I was like, oh fuck, I've just been standing there for the last 10 minutes, like just like looking at my hands, just like looking around.
So finally we get next to each other,
I'll
and
give you the
like,
biggest hug. I was
the
like,
big-
first of all, mate, hug.
yeah, before we
Yeah.
decide anything, like,
It's
we're
just-
both still alive.
Yeah, as, what
Alright,
else
that's good.
happens, whatever happens from now on, we're both
Yeah.
walking.
Like,
and
we can
fine.
pay for
That was,
any
and
gear.
that was fucking
we
stupid.
want.
At this point, like, realisation, like, logic and reason had filled into my head. I was like, why the fuck did we do that? Was so fucking dumb. Like, literally, there was no chance of surviving at all. Anyone could tell you, looking at the rapid, would be like, yeah, fucking don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, and we met so many people that are like, don't do that. And we're like, nah, it's alright. It's okay. I know more than you. Yeah, fuck.
I could just imagine what they'd say in the newspaper if you guys all died.
Yeah, I kept thinking that because I was wondering, being from England, how does the news get to my mum? Like, I was like, do they phone her and be like, I'm really sorry, but your son's dead, or do they have to fly over and do it in person, or
They-
do they just send the body over?
They
and
I'm
just
pretty
saw.
sure you'll see it in the
They
newspaper.
probably just send her a text.
That's how
Yeah. Yeah, your mom.
my mum finds out in the newspaper. Fucking hell.
So,
Yeah.
so you got out of the river.
So we're out of the
We're out
river.
of the river, we're together.
I'm now on the correct side of the river.
So now we focus on,
Getting the boat.
because we know the boat's there, and I hadn't really seen how close it was to shore, the bank. You've got me doing it, the shore bank. And so we were just like, well, we can see the boat. It hasn't gone to sea. Like, we've got hope. We could retrieve this, like, like this whole thing. We could be all right. So we just started wandering around.
So we knew that there was an easy route to get to the boat. So the shore where he saw the people, there's trails down. We'd actually, part of what our scouting, we had hiked through there already. And we scrambled over to it, and it's probably 20 meters out.
irritatingly close. Like, it's not so far that you say, fuck it, we'll buy a new phone, new car, new wallet, everything. But it's not close enough that you could just walk in
And it's a
without
borrowed
fucking-
kayak from work, right?
Yeah,
And you-
absolutely.
yeah.
So that, I don't give a shit. All I care about is
Well, yeah, you
And
know,
that's why-
you're leaving
and
the
that
country in a
comment
few
right
days.
there is exactly why I held on to it for so damn long.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, and the problem is it's trapped on some like debris that's been washed up from the rain, so it's just all trapped up. And you're looking downriver, and on the left there's a huge rapid. We can't see it, but you can see water spluttering up, which is
Oh
normally a big sign that it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to go there.
Pretty rough.
Yeah, and then on the right it's just all this sticks and debris, but it's going quick, so you know if you swim down that, you're just going to get caught and you're
All
going to
that
be
shit.
underwater
And-
and you sucked. And we were just looking at this kayak like it's so irritatingly close because
So you get out, you survive, you get back together,
yeah.
and then is your
We-
first thing like, let's go get that kayak
Yeah,
right now?
yeah.
And
that's the next
so
thing.
right now, when we decided to leave the kayak, we had an hour and a half of daylight left. And that was kind of our conversation. We ran down to the kayak, and in between where we got out and where the kayak is, there's a slide on the railroad tracks. So it's probably 100 meters of trees laying across. And I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
Huge
talking
trees as well. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything.
That's
like that.
gnarly.
Is this a new
Bigger
slide?
trees than I've seen.
Yeah, this
Wow.
I walked there
happened.
the other day and they weren't there, were they?
Right.
Yeah.
It's happened since we
Huge.
scouted it.
Fucking
Wow.
huge.
And that was less than 10 days ago. So we have to crawl through, and that's not bad to crawl through by yourselves, but we just go through, go down.
But with a kayak.
Yeah, and that's my thought. Like I was literally like cursing. I was like, oh, we're gonna have to pull
This is
the
gonna
kayak
suck,
through
yeah.
this fucking thing. Like,
And it's
So-
just an ordeal to get there, really, isn't it? It's just a shit
yeah.
place.
So
to
we
be.
get past that, get down to the kayak, and the first 10 meters, 15 meters is easy. Like, we can get in the water, there's some branches, we're testing everything, using the paddle, it's not too deep. We're being super cautious because we're okay now, there's no reason to risk anything.
Mhm.
It's gear, like whatever. But irritatingly close is a good,
It's just beyond your reach.
Just
I'd say
tempting
a couple
you.
of meters. Just
but again,
Taunting you.
Yeah.
so
In-
much
begging
yeah,
you to come
absolutely.
get
it's in
Absolutely.
brush that's out there, and you don't know what's in between. And in between, it's moving fast.
Yeah,
for
fast.
the from
Absolutely.
here to the wall, maybe. And
And you can't even phone for help because you don't have a phone.
Because yeah,
And
even
his
if I
phone's
did,
in the
well,
mine's, and even if we did have my phone, we're in the middle of Henry Cow, and there's no service.
and also, who do
Yeah.
you phone to get a kayak out of a river? Man?
well,
That number.
the only thing that I would have phoned to do was phone people to bring the things we needed to get there.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's 4:30. We're trying to. I think we debated a little bit, like, do we go, do we not? But
Well,
ultimately, we said our last resort is swimming out there,
yeah,
and we're not going to do that without more gear.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if we swim out there, we're not going to do it
Yeah.
without more gear.
They say because you think maybe we'll just get a rope and someone can
Make
get
a
in.
fishing pole.
But absolutely, but well, about getting rope and like tying it around yourself is
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of your thoughts. But they tell you like never have a closed loop in white water because
Oh, yeah.
you can get entrapped in it. So we're like instantly like you can't just tie yourself to something. And we even found like a metal pole that had been washed down the river, a huge metal pole, and we were like just trying to poke this car. I don't even know what my plan was, just try and knock it somewhere, but nothing worked. So eventually we came up with the conclusion
So
that
at
we
this
need
point,
tools.
like, it's 4:30, sunset's 5:20 something.
Yes.
Dark is 6 o'clock, a few minutes after. So it's like, okay, we've got an hour and a half of light. We need to utilize that time as best we can. And so I'm communicating that to him. I'm like, okay, our best thing we can do is go get whatever we need, get a couple more people, and come get this thing. And so at this point, we start running out of here. And mind you,
in wetsuits
And
and buoyancy aids
he's-
and kayak paddles and helmets.
he's
just running.
fit right now. You're in half marathon shape right now.
Yeah.
So you had to run all the way to your house.
Yeah.
I'm in drinking shape right now.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm
And so we're running, and he waited with me and stuff. But we're doing it in booties down a railroad track, which is not fun.
because you get the occasional stone that's pointing in the right angle that it just goes through the booty and hits you in the heel, and all you can do is shout, "Fuck,
Yeah.
motherfucker."
So we run about 2 miles, maybe more, out to my house, and we're coming up the hill. Roaring Camp Road. So we run through Roaring Camp, and we're coming up the hill, and lo and behold, one of our guides comes out, Dylan. He's driving down the hill in his truck, and he's of course sees us in our
Wetsuits.
PFDs, wetsuits, paddles, helmets.
He knows what
Yeah.
he's doing.
He knows what we've been doing, and he's like, "You guys missing something?"
Fucking yeah.
And luckily, he turned around and drove us up to my house, saved
Yeah.
us a few miles, or I
Yeah.
don't know, half mile.
Some time,
or
yeah.
Amount of time. Yeah.
Saved a lot of energy
The
in my life.
run before that though, on the rail tracks, they've got all these like, I guess they're tourists taking pictures of the redwoods and the rail track. It's like a diesel. It's like a heritage railway, isn't it? It's like a
Yeah.
museum sort of thing.
Oh, right. Covered
and Henry
bridge?
Cowell's right
Yeah.
there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we're
people are
in
taking
Henry
pictures,
Cowell.
and they're taking pictures, and they're like looking at the scenery. There's a lovely tree. There's a lovely bird.
Yeah.
And then suddenly these two blokes in wetsuits, helmets, kayak paddles, and voices like
Go
run
running
past
through.
them like they're on a mission. Like, I thought it was funny, so I was like, "Hello," and just like most
Cheerio.
English accent I could do.
He's waving at people because he's breathing easy, and I'm over here. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think about anything.
Yeah.
I would be
And,
too.
like, we'd go past people and they'd be like, "Looks like you're on an adventure." And it's like, yeah, that's one fucking word for it. Adventure, that's a good word.
So how did you get that? How'd you get it
So
back?
we get to there, and our plan is because we tried with the pole, and like the pole was length enough to reach it, but we realized like we need to be able to hook it, not just like poke at it.
Clear it and have it go.
So our idea is something like some kind of big like weightless stick, get out there and reach it, hook it, and pull it back in is the plan. Because the kayak's flipped over and my bag is still attached to the kayak.
So there's
And
lots of
it
things
has
you could hook.
it's a dry bag, so and it's got tons of gear loops on
Oh,
it, my
yeah.
orange bag.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, if we can hook that, we can pull it in, fine. So we come up, and of course I run to work to find materials because there's
Yeah.
nothing in the house. And I find a bunch of PVC pipe and connectors. It's like, okay, we can do this, we'll tape it, it'll be fine. And on the drive over there, I have this revelation of like, okay, we have a hook, it's gonna be a rope, but the pipe might break or like the connectors might come undone. So we used the rope to pull. The pipe was
You
just
like
to like
duct tapes
reach,
it all
Oh, okay, got it.
and then the rope
Ingenious
was
plan.
to pull
It wasn't
back.
even my idea, it was your idea. I think that was pretty.
Well, when
Great.
it comes to the engineering part, I can handle it. The kayaking part, not so much.
And
I'm really good at scrambling though. So
We go get.
we run in. We Fit Kid. We send him ahead. So now we have 4 people. It's me, Nick, my roommate Jake, and our friend Dixie. Because I was not about to just carry the kayak out with me and him. I think he thought we could do that, and we probably could have, but I would have been cussing him the whole time.
Yeah.
So I brought 2 more people because this kayak has handles on the sides and front and back since it's a tandem. And we run back in after parking at Roaring Camp, which we illegally parked there because
Yeah,
it
we
was closed.
just drove past the barrier.
We
It's
just kinda
amazingly
drove.
simple to break into that place.
It's like on the honor
it's really
policy.
impressive.
Yeah.
We were
It's like the honor system over there at Roaring
we were
Camp.
looking like a secret way to get in, and he just to the left is just a fucking very gradual grass bank. You could,
Come
like,
on in.
You could go down on a wheelchair, you'd be absolutely fine. The barrier is essentially redundant. Like, there's no
Yeah.
point in it.
So we get in. We do take headlamps, luckily enough. Well, 3 of us take
Three.
headlamps.
The other one,
Jake doesn't have
He's
one.
got night
but-
vision, I imagine. So.
Yeah.
Night vision. You guys are
Clear,
hilarious.
classic.
So we're going to that, and we make it in and make it back over to the boat. It's an easy trail down to the boat.
I'll
Get
go
over there.
first.
We're still in wetsuits because we know we have to get in the water. We can get in that easy section. We make a contraption to hook it. You hook it once, and we get the bag because that's the easiest
Oh,
thing.
we did get the bag, didn't we? Yeah, shit. But that was
And-
good because we got the phone, we got the wallet, keys, and my pants.
I'm trying to
so-
imagine this contraption. So you had
It's
a bunch of
like a
PVC
So
long-
pipe.
imagine
Pipe.
it's 3/4 inch
PVC?
PVC. The longest sections are maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet.
You just have a bunch of them hooked together.
And we have a bunch of them. But the
Structure.
funny
And
thing
duct
was,
tapes as well.
we had a bucket of pipes and connectors. And I didn't want to, I knew we had to run. I didn't want to carry the bucket, right? And so I packed my bag, packed everything. I packed probably 20 pipes and about 4 connectors.
Oh.
Even though we had plenty of connectors to connect 20 pipes. Totally. And I even, we had a gear check. Like, okay, we have this, and this before we left. Got down there and I had a lot of expletives just to just be pissed off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and-
You've been through an ordeal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I ran ahead because for whatever reason we asked me to run ahead. So I got there like 5 minutes earlier and I was getting the pipes out and the connectors. I was like, well, either he's fucked up or I'm an idiot and I can't figure this out.
Figure out what the hell he's about to do.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the longest pole we can make. He's like, nah, there's loads of poles in there. Yeah, there's loads of poles in there, but we can't connect them. He's like, fuck. It's just like all of that on top of, you forgot the thing that we need.
And it wouldn't be so bad if it was up the hill or across
yeah.
the way. It was 2 miles and up the hill.
Oh, Jesus.
So we made something that was
We got the bag,
of
didn't we?
length and hooked the bag. And we're
That's
like,
good.
oh, we've got it. And we
Yeah.
start pulling. But the bag breaks free.
Yeah.
And we kept pulling, and luckily we kept tension on it because it's not like we put a carabiner out. It's an open hook, so there's potential that it could come loose.
Yeah.
Pull the bag close, and it's like, okay, well, I've got phone, keys, and wallet,
That's the main
and
thing.
underwear.
We can buy a kayak, underwear, fantastic, we're sorted.
Yeah, so it's good. But the boat's still there, and at this point, it's completely dark.
Yeah.
Like, we got the bag, the pole, because it was duct taped together, not glued, comes apart, and so we're doing some reconstruction, kind of pole 2.0 to go
I'm
out
just
there.
sitting in the water.
And we come up with that, but now it's completely dark. And we're both in wetsuits. I'm kind of in and out of the water. He's in the water.
Fully up to my shoulders, I reckon, holding on to some wood that's got caught in the river, and I'm just hoping that it stays.
I would
'cause I'm
call it a
fully-
very stable position,
Yeah.
but still in the water.
I was
where it's
feeling
cold.
of it, yeah, because if that wood went, then I would have gone as well. So I was just sort of holding onto this wood, and I had the contraption with this tiniest hook, and I kept placing it on the kayak and forgetting which way round I'd place the hook, so I couldn't. So I had to bring it back again. And we went for a second time, and I just wrapped it round a strap, I guess. And we're like, oh, we got it. And then we like send the.
And it kept getting stuck because there's so many straps.
So
and
many-
stuff.
and, yeah, the reeds
it
have,
was
like,
on
interlocked.
trees
Yeah.
here, and it was stuck on something.
Yeah.
We couldn't tell what. And the angle we were pulling at, it wouldn't come off. And we were pulling really hard one time, and something popped loose. And that rope came back. If you've ever seen a rope under tension, it didn't
yeah. Oh, it's
snap,
not- yeah.
but it came back. And it's literally like
It was like a lasso.
Dixie, me, Jake, and that thing came back. But luckily there was a tree in between and just
Oh, shit.
smacked into that
But
tree.
I was
Did you
like,
hear it whip?
I was by the kayak, and I could hear it.
So that's
Oh,
like
wow.
There was silence afterwards.
second attempt after it, and some of the reaching apparatus, one of the connectors is now gone with a pipe
Yeah.
down the creek somewhere. So
Their
now
pole is
we're
even
on
shorter.
to reaching
Yeah, absolutely,
3.0, where we use 2 pipes together that have no connector with a pipe brace, and like 2 sections are like that, and the other sections are
Oh my
connected.
God.
And this guy, I have to give you kudos because he had a hook. It's just like any strap, metal strap, cam strap,
Oh, yeah.
whatever you use. It's a hook, a little smaller diameter than my pinky. He hooked it in something about the size of the beer bottle across 15 feet,
Yeah.
holding it, waving it around.
Oh my God.
on the river. He was like, no, I'm going to get this. I'm
Yeah.
going to get this. And I'm like,
Because that's
you're not
what-
going to get that.
yeah.
Get a strap. But he hooked the son of a
We
bitch.
couldn't, and the thing was, before this, we were like, this is our last chance. This is like, it's getting too dark.
Burn in daylight.
If we
Can't
don't get
see
this,
shit.
But there's no,
No
daylight.
daylight.
it's,
Burn.
it's not.
This
It's
is
not.
headlamps
I can see
on.
stars. People are making comments about how beautiful the stars are, sort of thing.
Oh,
and
no.
it was like, this is the last chance, and we couldn't see anything but this little loop.
I'd be
Yes.
pissed at who's talking about how beautiful the stars are.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying
Okay,
to.
Fuck
so
you.
Yeah.
I was gonna give him a guess, but
Absolutely.
yeah,
But yeah, so this tiny hook, and I spend it. It burns your forearms holding this pole because even though it's light, but
Oh,
when you're holding it at
man.
the very, very
Oh,
end,
yeah.
it's
and
because
I'm
you don't
leaning
have
into this
endurance.
river.
You're a boulder, not a climber,
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
you don't have the
Oh.
forearm endurance.
Oh yeah.
Top roping. Climbing jokes. So I get it. And I was like, yeah, fucking
And it's
yes.
this point too. We've changed the angle that we're pulling.
Oh.
So instead of pulling maybe 20 degrees towards shore, we've gone where we're pulling very much upstream. So that
Fighting
it's
against-
not pulling across the reeds, it's pulling up and away.
Yeah.
Huh.
The only problem with that is water's rushing over it. So we had the hydraulic part of it to worry about, but we're less to worry about the tangle. And it pulled free, and there was lots of shouting, and also like, keep holding it, tension, don't let it go. Don't, like, 'cause-
my
Reel
God.
it in.
If we let it go, I would have cried. I think just watching it go
Yeah.
down the river, like
But that was part of the reason that he was still in the river and we were up. So it was like as much strength as we could, but also if it floated by him, he could maybe
Yeah.
reach out and grab it.
One
if it
last
went
shot
close.
at. Yeah.
And then the fun began.
wow, yeah. Well, then we just got it. So the kayak came over, and I managed to grab it, and we get in, and we're like celebrating that we've got it. But we've just realised that we've climbed down a bloody.
It's
another
100
massive-
feet in elevation on a
Yeah, all on
60
this mud
degree
slide.
angle to get it
So
up
like,
out of there.
so there's 4 of us. Like, what's the plan? And we decided the best thing to do is attach a rope to it. One of us climbs up, or 2 of us climb up a little bit. Find a place where you're stable, so where a tree's falling down. Plant your feet, and then just start pulling.
And the
this
other 2
kayak
just
up.
stay with it and keep
And the
it.
other 2 just try-
We push where we
push
need
it.
to or steer.
Yeah.
But honestly,
it's
like,
night time, and I just can't be asked anymore. Like, we've been doing this all day. I've been in a wetsuit all day, and it smells, and like
Yeah.
I'm tired and cold.
how many
It's
times
just
did
like-
you pee in your wetsuit?
So many. I peed in my wetsuit before we got on the river. That's what kind of peeing in wetsuits I do.
We
I
were
told-
standing.
I
I was
heard
still
they're
putting
not
on my
supposed to do that
PFD.
anymore.
You're not supposed to do that.
No, they make them so good now that they're pretty
Man,
watertight.
it changes my world. I wear a wetsuit so often because of my job, and I get so used to just weeing without even
Wing.
pissing.
No,
or-
say
They
wing.
don't piss them in there.
Yeah.
Wee.
Wee.
I've been so used to wee-weeing whenever I want without any conscious thought that I got to a point where I wore normal clothes like trousers or shorts, and I
Yeah.
had to consciously stop myself from just
Wow.
pissing. Like, in public. That's
I
how
think
often
that's
I
why
wear
you
a
have
wetsuit.
to pee all the time.
Maybe because I've trained
Because
myself.
your body's trained
I
like,
really
oh, I
like
can
it.
go whenever
It's
I
really
want.
nice 'cause
But
This feels
you're-
good. Yeah.
especially- yeah.
I didn't even know peeing in a wetsuit was a thing till like a year ago, and I thought somebody was shitting me. I was like, what the hell? It's weird.
Because if you're out in the surf, you're out there for
you
like
can't
2
be.
hours.
Well, you're in the surf one, so you're in the water. Anytime you're in the water, peeing's okay. But you're in the wet. You can't be bothered to take that
Yeah, I'm
thing
not gonna
off.
take-
And pee. Yeah.
Unless you
that's-
need a shore dump.
That's why I don't
A
do
shore
it.
dump's the way you take your wetsuit off. That's
A short.
Oh yeah,
dump.
you definitely want to take a dump with your wetsuit off. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want one of them bad boys.
Especially
hanging
a
around.
shore dump.
Yeah. What were we talking about?
So we pulled it.
Oh,
you guys
hill.
are trying to get that damn kayak up the hill.
So we got up. Getting up the hill wasn't that bad, honestly. With 4
No,
people, it was like
it was pretty.
the
military
hardest
operation.
thing was like finding a path and realizing that like if they're walking up, even though we had 100 feet of rope, you can't just like weave in and out of
There's
things.
more
You have to
friction,
do it
isn't
in
there?
straight lines.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you got all kinds of friction and.
It's got to go through obstacles. And
Bad
shit.
physics. Yeah.
Physics, absolutely.
But honestly, where I was below the kayak most of the time, they were pulling it up faster than I could walk up the hill and push it. Like Dixie
Yeah.
was helping a little bit, but most of the time when she was telling them to stop, it was because they were pulling so fast it was about to knock her
Yeah.
over.
Damn.
Wow.
And so we get it up onto the railroad tracks, and now it's just like, or even once we got it out of the water, it's like we're no longer in a rush.
We made a conscious effort to say that we got the boat, we got the bag. Like none of us are dead.
Mission accomplished.
Nobody
Yeah,
needs
this
to
could
be a
take forever.
hero at this
Yeah.
point. We can take as much time as we need, and at this point, it's
heavy though,
probably
that kayak.
it's probably 6 o'clock at night,
Yeah, it's dark.
That's dark.
Everyone's got head torches on, like full beam.
except Jake.
Except Jake, because he hasn't got one. He's alright.
He's got night vision.
Night vision. Yeah.
So there's 4 positions to be on the kayak. 2 like right in the middle with holding handles, 1 on front and back.
It's a big kayak, right? It's got
It's
a
big.
few people.
They're big. Like man, yeah, they're heavy buggers.
It's-
Also, it had water in it. I think.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
we,
heavy.
Yeah, it had a couple gallons of water.
Is it
in
like a big old like a paddle like a stand up paddle board, but you're
I say it's bigger
Thicker?
than
I
stuff.
almost
It's
feel
bloody-
like you
it's
need a picture of it to
Yeah.
see.
It's
Like,
like 10 foot.
you guys put that video on YouTube?
I put it on my Facebook. That's
Oh,
pretty much
okay,
YouTube.
okay.
I don't know if I got any likes or anything.
did you put videos on there yet, or just pictures?
Actually, I haven't uploaded a video, just a picture. I put a freeze frame of where we just flip like that.
Oh,
I put-
shit.
And that's the moment that Kurt and Nick knew they were fucked. And there we are.
Oh my god! And you guys have video though, right?
We do. We both
Yeah,
wore GoPros for it.
Yeah, you guys have to put that up on the internet.
Upload that shit.
Well, I can't think of anything I did this week that was that exciting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gnarly. You guys aren't even done yet.
Well, so we managed to. We had a system. First of all, we had a beer because for some reason
that sounds like
Well,
a
of
good
course.
we all
idea.
had a backpack.
We had a beer.
Incentive, reward.
Here's my problem. We had a beer before we went through the
Crazy
slide
tree bit.
section on the trees.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like we had a beer and downed it. We all have a beer in our hand.
Yeah,
Hold on there.
because for some reason, like out of all the items you could bring to help the situation, Dixie thought, yeah, 4 beers. Will
Oh,
probably do."
of course Dixie
Yeah,
thought that.
absolutely. But I agree. That's
Yeah.
absolutely the right thing
yeah.
to do. And we got to the top of the hill where we knew we were safe, and she was like, I've got 4 beers, and we were like, we should really just wait until we've succeeded the whole thing and then have a beer. And 10 seconds went by, and someone was like, nah, fuck it. Just,
You can always count on Dixie to have
yeah,
something
absolutely.
to drink.
So we're just walking along with the kayaks and the beers.
So we had a good rotation around because
Yeah,
the
it's just
two
good
side
system.
positions you were actually carrying a lot of weight, and front and back were mostly just balancing. The back was it was probably like 40%, 40%, 15, 5. Is that the correct math?
That works.
So 100%.
It's enough for me to
Yeah.
to nod my head.
I don't know for sure.
So
Yeah.
basically,
It's your show, man.
the front was the easy position. It was like the rest position,
Yeah.
but you helped balance it. And the two sides were definitely. And so we had a good conversation too of like nobody needs to be a hero. We're not
You don't have
we're
to
not
strain
hauling
your
this thing. Yeah,
shoulders for this.
we've got at least 2 miles to go out of here. Let's take our time. We're
Yeah.
not in a rush. Ran into a couple people on. We ran into some people hiking in, doing a night hike.
It's crazy when you see two you think you're in the middle of nowhere and you suddenly just see these two head torches and everyone's quiet, everyone shuts up instantly. Whatever conversation we're having, doesn't matter how important
who
it
is
is. What the fuck is that?
It's
And
crowded
they
in
do the
California.
same thing, and you can hear everybody be quiet until
I
they
would
pass each other up.
hate to be those people because they had that situation, but as they got closer, all we discovered was 2 people walking. They discovered 4 people in a kayak. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell are these guys?
All with a beer
Yeah,
in their
no
hand.
Yeah,
Shit.
everyone's got a beer as well. Like that.
we hit them all because we were worried it was rangers.
Oh yeah.
So we put them all in Dixie's.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Shit.
And what was funny, I did my Leave No Trace due diligence and picked up a 24-ounce Coors Banquet.
Oh, they're just laying on the road.
But so we passed them and we go out, and it took us, what did it take, 45 minutes or an hour to get
Probably.
out of there, carrying that thing, which I feel like was pretty good. But railroad tracks are at a really awkward width to carry this boat. The 2 people on the sides couldn't be inside the tracks.
Oh yeah.
And so it was this and it's not
Oh.
flat on either side. So we were doing this constant like, I have a really shitty footing, and like so constantly moving back and forth across the railroad tracks, which it
That's
was
rough.
silly, but the boat was just too wide to
Yeah.
be able to carry it like that. And so we get it out, and we're taking all the things off of it because we put booties and rope and whatever on it, and we're like getting ready to throw it up on top of the car, and we're in Roaring Can. And a car comes driving over the hill, and we're like, "Fuck! It's the police!" Like because we're not supposed to be here.
And also, the observant of us noticed that it had a light out the window. Which is
yeah,
so bizarre. I've never seen that in my life.
Like a
What-
spotlight.
Yeah, we don't have that at all.
The way
And
the
it's
police
moving.
officers have the one on the mirror.
Yeah.
It's
But
well
it
exciting.
wasn't a police officer. It was one of the like neighborhood patrol guys
Oh,
or whatever
okay.
they
One of
are.
those assholes.
Yeah,
They-
absolutely.
the
Self-appointed
guys that think
deputy
they have
of-
power, but they
Yeah.
don't. And he comes out and like. And first off, if I was him, I'd be a little nervous if I was coming up on 4 people.
With a
Yeah.
fucking kayak, and they've clearly broken in because
Those
at,
type- yeah, those type
at one
people
point
are-
there wasn't any cars, and now there is a car. So they're clearly someone.
So
Yeah.
apparently an alarm had gone off, and I thought it was somebody else walking because there were other people walking in and out of there.
Had nothing to do with you guys.
Had nothing to do with us.
also,
but,
we got there like 2 hours before. So if your alarm's gone off, you're shit because it took 2 hours for you to
yeah,
get there.
but so I don't know if they caught the alarm with us getting on the car or other people walking through, and then we happened to be.
What kind of alarm? I'm confused. Like
They said they have security cameras around the area, and like something went off,
Oh,
and they have
okay.
like first alarm, and
Oh.
so they got called. So this guy came out, and he was like a first responder, and then
that's Joe down the street
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
I
first
mean,
alarm, Joe.
Yeah.
He was a mountain looking dude. Like nothing
Yeah.
wrong with mountain looking,
Grizzly.
but like he was obviously a local.
He's got a
out
shotgun
there.
in the back of his truck.
Yeah, well, he was driving like a 4-door. I don't know, like a
Oh, he's-
Chevy. He was driving like a Chevy Lumina
Oh.
coming out there.
Like a good patriot would.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he comes. And what are you guys doing? I'm like, and
What the hell does that
somehow,
look
well,
like?
I kind of elected myself because I knew nobody else was going to talk, but I was. Well, Jake would talk. I wouldn't
Oh, you
allow him to
would.
do that. I wasn't. He didn't want to, and Dixie didn't want to, and I wasn't
I
going to
spoke
let
to the
Jake talk.
guy. I thought we were firm friends at the end of it.
Yeah, it was fine. But so
Oh, I was expecting him to
the
be a
cops
dick.
were on their way.
Uh huh.
That's what he told
Because-
us.
Yeah, supposedly. So we put the kayak on, and we went home.
But the funny bit, he came to us. He was like, "What y'all guys do it like that American thing that you say?" And he's like asking what we're doing, and we explained it. And as we were finishing, the 2 walkers, I don't know if they've seen people, but 2 different walkers were walking up the rail station, and they were like 10 meters away, like whatever feet, I don't know what that is. And he got in the car instead of just walking to them, drove the 10 meters, got out the car.
He almost ran over him.
Yeah, and he said exactly like the whole speech over again, like, what are you guys doing? Like the whole
It's probably a spiel he has to everyone every day.
everyone. Like,
Every night,
Yeah.
same
But
shit.
they were walking down the
Cops are on
railroad
their way.
tracks, and like they had a path, and he legitimately pulled up in their path. Like
in
if
a
they
way.
hadn't stopped, he would have hit them.
Yeah,
That's how they intimidate people.
absolutely. I wanted him to call but he said the sheriff's coming or the police are coming in like 2 minutes. I was
That
like,
guy's probably full
well,
of shit.
ask him because like bring him over. I don't think I've done
Yeah.
anything wrong. I'd love to have a chat with the guy.
How you say it? We got hikers and kayakers
No,
out there at
no,
Roaring Camp. Yeah, let's.
shit.
We got the whole force working
Yeah,
on it right now, and these emergencies that's going
Yeah.
on.
They
around
guys
here.
working in shifts.
Yeah. right.
Yeah.
So we got back and we just had we got to a point where we got everyone together after showering and having something to eat, and we were like, we need to watch the fucking GoPro footage to relive. And we just had like,
You guys better post that shit, man.
wow, dude, I will. I'll send it over or some shit. And that
We
was-
survived.
That was it. We're
Here
alive.
to tell the tale.
The kayak's back.
Happy ending.
all
I'd
this
say
stuff
do it
like that.
again.
Absolutely. Well, I was saying he's got the day off on Tuesday.
Double down.
Yeah. Just start earlier.
Yeah, absolutely, because you got longer.
Now you're
Like, nah.
experienced.
Honestly, the
Yeah.
kayaking part doesn't bother me as bad as how bad my body hurts right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
This guy, of course, he's a fit one, gets to just sit around, and I have to scramble up this mountainside. And I can't. The last time I ran, I ran maybe 3/4 of a mile last year for like a get
in the
together
whole
back
year,
home.
you ran 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
That's a long while.
That's probably more than I ran.
Wow.
No, but but that was December of 2015 that I did that.
That's amazing.
I have not run since then. And yesterday we ran at least
It was
4 miles.
pretty Yeah, it was pretty hard on the body physically, I think.
Like I said, he's in half marathon shape. I'm in drinking shape.
Yeah. I run to the bathroom. That's about it.
Hell no, I don't.
During a commercial, only got 30 seconds.
Or I just wear a wetsuit on my couch. I can piss whenever I want.
Hey, you're with me. You feel me.
Oh, shit. So what'd you do this week, Gene?
I went to San Francisco.
Oh,
Had nothing to do with it. I was gonna ask you guys. Was this like the most dangerous situation you put yourselves in terms of like like fuck, this is a close one?
I don't know. That's hard. At the time, I was laughing about it. And I've got to be honest, I found it funny how serious other people took the situation because I was just like, oh, this is so funny. But that night, like last night, I couldn't sleep for ages because I kept closing my eyes and thinking about the situation, and I think about. So I've done courses about how to lead people down white water and how we like ignored absolutely.
Oh, how yeah.
Like all the golden
All the
rules
rules
they
you
tell you,
broke.
like never just blindly go down a rapid, even if you've done it that morning. A tree could have fallen down or anything, so never blindly run a rapid, no matter how well you knew it. We didn't know it at all, and we still went for it. And the fact, it's just, there's so much shit that went through my mind, like we didn't do really well at that point.
I had that thought too, though, but he couldn't. I was holding the boat at one point, like sitting in an eddy. He went out to scout it, and he couldn't get far enough to see the
That's
second
the
rapid
thing,
that
yeah.
got us. The only thing to do then would have been to pull the boat up a really long way, get on the trail, hike up, 100 feet in elevation, down another 100 feet. That's what we should have done. But
Yeah.
I even think if we had thought that was what we were gonna, we wouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I don't think.
and the problem was as well. I think we got confident because the rapids before that were really small. We were running blind corners then, and you went around the corner. There was either nothing or the smallest
I
thing.
see.
So you sort of got confident, and you were at the point where like you were like, it's not going to be anything, and we just like gambled and
Underestimate,
and
lost.
And honestly, because I haven't done that much whitewater, but I've done a little bit, and you learn at a point where you can read the rapids and you know your line of where you should go. And I was looking at it, I was just like, oh fuck, like this has gone from just a little paddle to like, even if I had a proper kayak and all my paddling friends with me, it would still be quite testing. And then by the time you even come up with a thought, it was like, yeah, you're gone and you're out. Like it was, going back to it, it was so stupid, man. Like, it was so dumb. I'm so happy we did it and we're here, like, and we can talk about it. But
I'm glad we fell out where we did.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah, if we
we
carried
had
on,
had
it gets worse.
if we
I
had
think.
made it through that, we definitely wouldn't have made it in the boat through the next thing.
Yeah.
And it was far more dangerous to
Yeah.
be in the water in that.
Oh, that's interesting.
The problem as well was what I'm used to, the paddling I've done in England, what you have is like a rapid, like quite a short rapid, where it's gone downhill, and then you have a soft spot normally, and then you like a calm spot. So
Yeah.
if you've fallen out of your boat, your friend can come over, get you back in, and you have time to relax
And regain your
get
bearing
out,
and then-
you can even leave the river if you want to. That's it. But this one was just like longer than I've ever seen a rapid carry on for.
Shotgun
and
blast.
each bit was just like.
We've had 3 different kind of floods lately.
And I was gonna say that.
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. That's what I know now. At the time, I didn't.
It's a storm,
But
it turns
yeah.
out, you guys were in.
I'm not
right?
sure if it was like. It was probably one of the stupidest situations I put myself into.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if, you know.
Yeah. I'd say
But I think
it's going to be
I've-
up there with my question, with my story.
there's different types of stupid situations
Yeah.
or dangerous situations, but I've definitely been in as dangerous or more,
Yeah,
but in different ways.
go on.
Do
Yeah,
tell.
that's what I didn't
Do
say.
tell.
Yeah.
That's just like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but have you and you just can't like think of a specific, but
I've been in situations where things have just been unlucky and you feel like you did the right thing and it's just turned on you. Whereas this was probably one of the biggest situations where looking back on it, everything that's like in the rule book says, nah, don't do that. Like, and the fact that we saw the fucking rapids like from up high, to be fair, and I was just like,
well, we did
yeah,
walk
we
down
can do
and
it.
look at the ones in that spot
Mate, they
where
were
those people
fucking crazy.
I think they were
yeah.
bigger than
They
the
were
day that we
big.
went to them.
Yeah, they were chunky rapids. They were big old buggers.
I once floated a rapid that was as big as the thing that I dropped there.
So when you say floated rapid, that means you're in the water?
I'm in the water, no.
Swimming.
I'm
Just feet up?
I'm swimming.
Okay.
But in our situation, I had a wetsuit, which gives you flotation, and a PFD or PA
Thank you.
going down. But I've floated a much bigger set of rapids with absolutely nothing on but my board shorts before.
Oh, shit.
On purpose?
I just, you.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
And I watched 3 or 4 people do it before me, but still, like just the same thing. A tree could have fallen that morning,
Yeah.
but like something could have changed in what I did. So I've been down. I have a very healthy respect for whitewater, and healthy respect bordering on fear.
Okay.
And I didn't tell you that before we took off, but like I like it, but I like know that experienced paddlers die.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. You hear it quite often. I think like it's not like a rare thing.
Yeah.
It's quite common.
And-
The best of. And even if they don't like, there's so many horrific stories of people.
I
that
think
being
that
trapped
didn't
and died.
hit me until I was under the boat and I was stuck to it. And even though I knew I could unbuckle, at that point I couldn't get my feet up. And like, if you watch the video, the underwater bit there is what, 3, maybe 4 seconds.
but it always feels like.
But it
when you're
felt
on,
like
and
an
it always feels
eternity.
so much. But I think the problem was the fact that we'd gone 2 of us, because when you normally go as a club, there's quite a few of you, and
Yeah.
if there's a difficult rapid, someone gets out and they're there with safety, there with a rope, or you come up with some sort of plan. The fact was like every problem we had could have been solved by having someone.
Having a
Yeah,
plan.
you guys really winged it.
Absolutely, and that's
Wing,
like
wang, wang.
the realization.
Fail to
afterwards.
plan to fail.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what fucking happened.
Yeah.
You should take.
Right.
You should learn a lesson from the story. Yeah. Plan your shit.
Plan your shit.
Don't be dumb.
Or have a healthier respect for what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounds like. Sounds like you guys just
Mate,
thought it wasn't going to be too bad.
I'm upset.
Like it was going to be a cruise.
Yeah, I'm upset that we might sound like idiots. Like, I was genuinely embarrassed. Like those people we met on the side that were telling me not to do it. I was genuinely like embarrassed to go back to them at the point that I thought Curtis had just fucked off and I was just
Again.
I was like, I should probably go back to where they are because that's like the main hub. But I don't want to stand there in my fucking wetsuit, a buoyancy head and a helmet, admitting that I went down these rapids on that kayak.
That's still, yeah.
So I was like, I'll just stay here for at least half an hour.
At
and maybe
least.
maybe they fuck off. Maybe.
Yeah, there was one point.
It
Well,
was
actually more than
stupid.
one. When I was really high, and there are trees and branches and stuff in the way, and I can't see him either. And I had a couple of thoughts of like, okay, I've moved at this pace, but I moved up. Like, is he ahead of me or is he behind me? Because there were times where I was moving faster upriver than you were, and vice versa. And so I didn't know where you
and
were
it's just
either.
the sheer like ends of communication. Like when we first met each other, we could talk because the rapid had gone narrow, I guess, so there wasn't so much noise. But as we went up, it was so loud. And I remember at one point I was like indicating, should I use a phone from these people to phone someone? Like, and I was screaming like I've never felt myself shout as loud. I was just like, should I phone someone? And he was just like, I can't hear you.
Finally, I figured
I
out
used to
what
see
he
a
was-
British guy like yelling, "Should I ring someone on the telly?"
Should I use the telephone?
I tried, but they were engaged.
I don't want to be rude and call them again. I'll leave them.
They're out dogging.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Well, that sounds like quite a.
It's
Quite an
something
ordeal.
that
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm gonna remember.
I think
it for a
if you
while.
asked me yesterday, I would have told you that I wasn't happy that we. I'm happy we attempted it because
Yeah, it's fine.
I would have
we
been.
wouldn't
I would have
able to-
been.
Yeah.
I would be telling everyone for the rest of my life whenever I leave Santa Cruz, like, oh, I could have done it. Oh, it's like that. But we tried it. We failed.
Yeah.
I would call it a fail.
I would not call it fair. I'd
See,
call it an
that's-
absolute
yeah.
success because
Absolutely.
we're here.
That's the
Look,
attitude.
I'm doing my first podcast thing ever. That's a success because of that fucking
There you
story.
go.
Man. Yeah,
It's an awesome story.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
Jesus,
thing.
that story you're gonna be telling for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So, do you know anybody that, or have you talked to anybody that has tried this around this time
Not a
and
clue.
have made it?
No, but
'Cause I know
there
people at
was a
work were talking
guy
about it.
on the shore in Henry Cal on River Wet, and he was like, we had a good conversation with him because at that time we stopped paddling and we were floating. We talked to him for a minute and a half. The guy, and he was like, "Oh, you guys, have you done it before?" No. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking about doing it." If I could go back and tell him like, "Don't do it,"
Yeah.
I would.
The thing is, if we had the proper equipment, and
If we had it,
would have
like you
been-
said, if
that
we
would have
had a
been
group of
so
people.
fun. Like the rapids would have been so fun that if you had like everyone in their kayaks, everyone had the proper gear, maybe a guide that knew what was going on. It would have been like it's like the dream rapids.
And even
Yeah.
if he had
Next
had-
year.
Next
Well,
year.
If
thing
he had
is-
had or 12 years from now, because we're not going to get rain next year.
Oh, that's true.
If he had had 100-foot throw rope on him,
Yeah.
he could have thrown that to me.
If we had a throw rope, yeah, you're normally supposed to carry like a bag of rope that you can chuck to access someone. Like, yeah,
If he had had that on him, I wouldn't have spent an hour getting back to
absolutely.
him.
But the fact that we had a rope, but we attached it to the kayak, so all the safety shit went with the kayak. Obviously,
Yeah.
even worse.
But we didn't have the proper PFDs to
No.
like attach it to.
If we'd had
And
the proper gear, man, it would have been solid. The fact is, like, if you flip over in a normal kayak, you can roll back up, and then it's like round two, you're ready to
Keep
go.
going.
But the fact is that on a sit on top, as soon as you've rolled over, that's game over. There's literally nothing you could do.
Are
with
those
that.
mostly meant for like the ocean?
They're meant.
like pet-
they're meant for not even
or like-
ocean. They're meant for just flat.
A swimming
lakes.
pool.
Well,
Just throw it in the
there's
swimming
that
pool.
ocean too,
This
because they
this
don't-
could be like the Mavericks, the new Mavericks,
Wow.
but for kayaking down
Oh,
the
yeah.
river.
Say it,
You know. Best
No.
kayakers in the world are like they have a 24-hour notice that the San Joaquin is like fucking going crazy.
Everybody just comes
Yeah.
over and takes it over.
Yeah.
And it's so the water's just like mud right now.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. And there's all the thing that made it more shit is that there's so much wood in it at the moment, and there's so many
Yeah.
like branches across the river.
It's chaos.
That's the
Even
thing that-
before it
Unsafe.
got rough, there
Yeah.
were places
Absolutely.
where we were getting out on beaches and scoping because it was so many bushes and
Branches,
reeds and
man.
stuff that
Yeah.
were down. Like we were having to navigate through that. Like we got out
Some
a couple
stormy
places
shit.
where it wasn't
Absolutely.
even.
And there's bigger trees than I've ever seen in my life, just like laid across the rivers. It's
Jeez.
just there, just and it was
Chaos.
Like, yeah, it was like something from I don't know, like Lord of the Rings or something, just paddling under these massive trees and
It's like
yeah,
you're in the middle of a natural disaster.
crazy shit.
And
it
it's
absolutely was.
It's like surfing a typhoon or something, or
Absolutely.
surfing a tsunami.
They had the 17 closed like almost the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
nuts. All those
Yeah.
people can commute down the 17.
I'm glad I don't have to do that drive anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're living up there, man, that's like you just stay home.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to pass. Unless
That's
you
what I
want
did.
to kayak.
That's pretty much all I did last week.
Yeah.
Just stay at home.
Stay and
Didn't
play
do a whole lot.
Nintendo. I just play my Nintendo.
I played your Nintendo.
Mike Tyson's
Better than
punch
what
out.
we did.
Almost beat up Mike Tyson again.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. Damn, that's crazy. It's so crazy that you guys did that shit.
Stupid. I think
Nah.
that is stupid.
It's adventure.
I don't know. The only thing
I'm
I
just-
have from it is that they say an expression I've heard from a good friend was regret is worse than fear.
Yeah.
So the whole idea that, like you were saying, if we didn't do it, we would have not known it was so weird and so crazy, and I would have flown home going, like, genuinely, I would have been like, we should have done that. Like, that would have been such a good story. Whatever happened, we should have done that. So I'm glad, like, what happened, because if you didn't do it.
If we didn't do it, we never would have knew.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, I might get that tattooed. That's great.
Hey, and you got a
Quote of
video.
the
You
year.
got a video, right? You got the good stuff in
Two
there.
videos. We both had a GoPro.
Oh, yeah, you should edit that shit.
Absolutely.
Eye of the Tiger, the
Yeah.
music background.
Yeah.
Two very different perspectives.
My way, I'm out, I'm safe, and yours is far.
Oh man, you
We should
should
put it side by side.
get that
He-
shit
he-
edited. Yeah.
He commented that would be funny if we had, because some of them are obviously running simultaneously. If we could like edit it enough that
Yeah, man.
we could run some of them simultaneously.
I bet you could.
He commented when I was hiking and doing things. He was like, "You talk to yourself a lot." I was like, "I was in a mental space. I had to talk to myself." It's like when I was on the rock with you. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
that was interesting as well.
It's funny when you've got a GoPro on, because you, at some point, you're like, realise I've got a GoPro on, but then when something happens, you forget that something's recording what you're saying. And like the point where I got out and he'd gone downriver, I totally forgot that it was recording. And I was just like, fuck.
That's the
that
best
was-
part of the video, right?
that was the point where he realized that he left me.
Yeah, I was just like,
He was like,
just
"Oh wait,
realised
I was
that,
with
oh,
someone."
man, like, and I sort of knew that from what Curtis has told me and from like that he didn't have the most experience in whitewater. So I was like, fuck, it's like the teacher leaving the student, and the student's got like the hardest lesson ever. And
Yeah.
like, there's so much shit I need to tell him about what's about to happen to him, and he's gone.
Yeah, I think
And we didn't have any fucking plan. Like I planned.
hindsight, I should have gotten out with you
Yeah, maybe.
when I was holding the boat.
But that's-
But at least I would have known to swim. Like, first off, I should have known and initially swim river right. But at the same time, like, dump the boat. Like,
Yeah.
like
But I remember before the trip, I was like, I need to have a chat with Curtis about, like, we need to have some sort of sign language, some sort of word that if we say it, it means, like, either abandon the boat or get here or get there. And for whatever reason, we fucking forgot to
Which
do that.
I thought about making a plan, but
Like,
then I said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck it. That's
Gotta
my
wing
safety
it.
word.
We should have had, and I planned to have
Fuck it.
the abandoned boat situation where everything's tits up, we fucking leave the boat and we get ourselves safe. And when we flipped it, we should have said, fuck the boat.
Abandoned
Let's just-
ship.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
abandoned ship in the most English way, and then we're fucked.
Work will forgive me.
But you
eventually.
you wanted to go
Damn
down
the
ship.
torpedoes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bloody torpedoes.
did you see me go over the drop?
Nah, man.
Yeah, that's what-
thankfully, because
How big
that's
was the
what-
drop? How big was the drop?
Bloody big.
20 feet or something? Or like?
Nah, it's not like a
but it
waterfall.
wasn't the fact that it was a drop.
It wasn't
the fact that it was a stop.
It's one of these stopper things.
It was like you
Oh.
said, the stopper.
And it
The
recirculates and it's big. And the
so you go
wa-
Was
boop.
there a lot of debris like
Yeah.
stored up in there?
Well,
No,
the thing
it was
is,
washed out.
You get it in your washing
There's a
machine.
there was a rock here.
yeah, that's the thing. The reason I was gonna say that if we'd survived that point, we want to go to the right, away from it, was because the water that was getting free was moving into this rock, and sometimes you get what's known as an undercut, which is where the rock on the surface looks like this, but underneath it's like a cave sort
Oh,
of thing.
yeah.
Oh.
And if the water's recirculating in there, you can get shooted in
You're right,
there,
right,
and then suddenly you're under a rock and you
You're-
can't
you're
breathe sort of
done.
thing.
Yeah.
So, to me, it looked like the water was doing something weird, and I don't know enough to be able to certainly say that there's not an undercut. There is, but I was just like,
Don't go there.
Either way, even if it wasn't, you don't want to go there because it's going to flip you around a few times. And I was just like, definitely go to the right. And then I wouldn't ever believe that someone would go down into that hole and just paddle through it, just like swim through it until
I
we
think
watched the
the
footage.
only reason that I made it through that is because I
If you
was
held-
still holding on.
The
to
thing is, the
boat.
boat's heavy, so I imagine it went through the.
Well, it's
stopper.
heavy and it's huge.
Yeah, whereas
It's not
you-
like it's not getting swamped.
Yeah.
The way a normal kayak would, because normally a kayak with a kayak would get
It's
rolled
hollow,
back
right?
into that. Yeah, it's gonna swamp with
Yeah.
water and be pulled back
Absolutely.
into there.
But I don't know if you probably would have been spat out, but there's these horrible stories of people being like spit under rocks and
Oh,
just
yeah.
not being able to find out,
Fucked.
or just you see the videos of people getting caught in a stopper, and even though they're not in their boat, they just get thrown around like a rag doll, just
Yeah.
up and down, and that's the whole vision I had in my head as I couldn't see Curtis, and I was like running over these rocks that because we had no idea what was in this rapid, and it could have just been a tree across the rapid, and all that would take was for Curtis to get stuck between the tree and a
Yeah.
rock, and he's gone or stuck in a stopper. So I was like full on survival mode.
Wow.
We chat about something called like type 1, type 2, and type 3 fun. And
Uh-huh.
like type 1 fun is fun, but you know nothing's going to happen that's going to hurt you. Type 2 is like there's a chance. That
pretty
something might
safe,
happen.
but,
yeah,
you know.
but there's something could happen. And that makes it exciting. But chance 3 is just like
Like skydiving, maybe?
fuck. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
skydiving is
that type-
relatively safe.
I
Yeah.
guess so. But
I think skydiving would be type 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
But then type 3 is just you're in your panic zone and like it's not fun anymore and there's too much risk to be
Yeah.
able to enjoy it anymore. And that I guess I got to that point, especially when I
What's
when I
the
saw
risk
you,
and
it's
reward
fine.
scale?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to be on the line up.
Yeah, and I absolutely was. Like as soon as I saw you, it was like, okay, the kayak can go because they're like we can buy those things again, but
Yeah.
we can't buy Curtis again. And it's awkward for me because I'm staying with Curtis. So if
Yeah.
I went home to his girlfriend and his family, I was like, yeah, he's dead, but can
You
I
have to
still
stay at my house.
Can I stay one more week, even though it's sort of that's the problem.
It's gonna be a little awkward.
My flight's on Thursday, and I know you're sad, but
I know you're sad.
he won't need his bed anymore, will he? So, maybe I could get in there. And there you go, man. Like, I'm absolutely going to tell people about this story. Maybe I'll link this into Facebook and they don't need to leave.
Fuck
listen
yeah.
to
Then
it.
you don't have to tell the story anymore because it gets old
Look,
telling stories like
oh,
that over and over
absolutely.
again.
Hey,
Absolutely.
you get better at telling them, though.
So
Yeah.
you guys
Be a little
like
more creative.
I've given some brief details to people, but especially since it's the both of us, you guys have definitely gotten the first full,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the fullest story
Yeah,
that
that's like-
anybody's gonna get.
Very interesting.
I think we're like local legends because and the reason I think this is I went to a beach today with loads of people I don't know. I only knew one person. I got invited to the beach, and at least 3 or 4 people came up to me and were like, "You're Nick, aren't you? You kayaked the river the other day, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I fucking did."
Oh, that shit travels fast. huh?
Yeah,
Well, I don't.
they know about us. Don't tell them
Local-
that you told them about us.
Oh, leave that little detail out.
Yeah, there's a
They
legend
caught a
about
glimpse.
us.
Local legends meaning
Local
Mount
legend.
Herman, not Santa Cruz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the 6 houses that are in Mount Hermon. That's fun, and all of them saw it.
Everybody's a legend in Santa
Yeah.
Cruz. Just ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a bar somewhere where you go to the deepest, darkest corner of the bar and they'd be telling our story of,
You hear them guys?
you hear them dickheads who went down the Kayak River?
Old Joe called the cops on them up there at Mount.
There you go, man. That's it.
That's crazy. Yeah, you guys would be legends.
I hope so. In my mind, I will be.
You guys would be
know
legends.
it's illegal to paddle the bottom part of the river?
What's that? Say it again.
The bottom part of the river.
Yeah.
It's
The
illegal.
San Lorenzo specifically?
Yeah.
Like to paddle through the city, kind of?
The concrete part where like it spits everything out into the ocean.
It starts pretty high up. Like, it's illegal to paddle that.
Wow.
Did we not do the illegal bit?
Mm-mm.
That's annoying.
I'm surprised it's legal at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, it has to do a slough, right? Is where the salt water and it's affected by tides,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
depending on the word you choose. Up until it turns only into fresh water,
Ah, okay.
it's illegal to paddle that. So
I wonder what the reasoning is there.
there's
There's
a
so
couple,
many
but
rules
there's
in there.
some paddler movements and there's some legislation I think going through right now. Like they're trying to make it where you can, but there's like 2 or 3 paddle days every year where it's like, hey, you can go paddle the river and do stuff. But it initially was protection for wildlife
Okay.
Mm.
down near there. I think mostly birds, but I learned that 30 minutes before we left. Thinking like, oh, we're going to the ocean.
I doubt there's anybody out there waiting to write tickets.
Yeah.
Anyway.
man.
Well, one of our canopy tour guides put in somewhere down there, Rich Larson, he put in down there and was on a stand-up paddleboard, which I have a bit of disgust for, but that's a different story. And he was paddling around and there were like cops on shore like yelling, you can't be here.
Oh
He
Jesus!
was like, what?
Come on.
But that's also my thing is like, you're not going to be able to arrest that person unless you can get to them on water, which no boat is going to go do. And secondly, he can get down water faster than you can go on land. Like, you just
Yeah.
go and have
Yeah.
You told me like 10 minutes before we launched, and I was just like,
I almost didn't tell
ignorance
you.
is bliss, isn't it? Because if a policeman somehow got us to the back,
Yeah, I
and
was
talked to us,
gonna
I'd just
play
be like,
implausible.
I had no
idea.
yeah, I'd be like, I literally have no idea what you're talking about, and I leave in less than a week. So like, what are you gonna do about this situation? Like, are you really gonna follow this up, or are we just gonna get back in our boat and fuck off?
Knowing cops, you
Yeah.
probably get thrown in
Mother.
jail, and beat up a little bit.
Santa Cruz cops pretty bad.
I don't know.
I would think they'd
Probably
be
not.
kind of chill. I
had
don't
one
know.
almost pull a
It's
gun
kinda-
on me one time, but that was my fault.
Oh.
What in Santa
Kinda.
Cruz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Santa Cruz, really?
Yeah.
Guns.
I didn't think they carried guns.
There's a Big Lebowski tie-in in that one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah,
So went downtown for Halloween. They block off Pack Ave.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
Really, they block off it's like 2 blocks, but one street, but 2 blocks. Does that make
Uh-huh,
sense?
yep.
Like they don't
Yep.
block off.
It's like
I
in
don't-
parallel, right?
it's
Like
front and what's the one on the other side? They don't block their streets, but you can't like turn on to Pack Ave.
oh, I see.
Like down the block.
Oh, Laurel, I think. Cedar. Yeah, whatever.
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 So we're going down Pack Ave and need to pee, and every other block they had.
So you didn't have your wetsuit on?
You didn't-
I did not.
He's got it.
What'd you have? Were you wearing costume?
Yeah, I was wearing a costume at the time. I had shorter length curly hair, this going on, shorts and a white robe, and I was carrying.
Your cocktail, your White Russian,
You kind of
Well,
look like that guy right
your
behind.
beverage.
Yeah, I
The dude.
But I had the grocery store outfit on. And milk here isn't purple when you buy it in a half gallon, so I got half and half.
Uh-huh.
And I dumped all that out and put way too much Jack in the bottom
Oh,
of it. So-
fuck.
but I was walking around all night just drinking Jack out of it, which was really fun.
Yeah.
But the girls we were with needed to pee and we weren't ready to go in a bar yet. And so I was like, dude, like,
Just
cops,
go.
cops are fine. Like, I'll go talk to, like, they'll know where the bathroom's at, right?
Yeah.
And so, Pack Ave, I'm walking, a block, and I'm going that direction. And I'm like, gonna go talk to him. And I see that the one guy all of a sudden puts his hand, like, on his hip. There are 3, I think. I think it's 3 guys.
As you're approaching them,
Yeah.
they're feeling like they're threatened
Yeah. By
Oh.
me. Hey,
by you.
by
Yeah,
this.
classic
Yeah.
overreaction of a cop. But then again, hey, maybe they just
Yeah.
had an experience. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Exactly. And then I keep walking. I was like, "That's weird." And I honestly did like a take behind me, like, "What's he going on?"
Yeah, yeah. Why would you pull it on me?
Now the other 2 are looking at me, and they both have their hand on their hip. And I'm like, "What?"
Did they think you're like some homeless guy, maybe?
Well,
Like they forget it's
what
Halloween?
The problem is I was doing this under a robe,
Oh, I see.
and they thought I was about to pull a gun out.
Pulling a piece.
And then I realized what was happening, and you gotta understand, I'm like
Hammered.
quite drunk.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, oh shit, like I'm so sorry, like I'm just trying to find the bathroom. But literally, like, he had the first one that noticed me had there's kind of the 3 stages.
you
It's
snap
like
the
hand on, the button open, and then the out.
Yeah.
And he had the button open.
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, I'm just trying to find. I'm sorry. I realized what just happened. Like I even like lifted my thing. Like I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and like, but they all 3 just hyper aware, like already on their own.
Jeez.
It's a good thing you're white.
Yeah.
Could have took you out.
Wow.
Sadly.
I just watched the O.J. Simpson, The People versus O.J. Simpson on Netflix. For like, I think I'm on like the last one.
No, I was
Dude,
gonna say, did I? haven't seen
No,
it.
my stepdad was saying, he said it's like
that
really good.
shit
Is
is
it?
so good, man. I thought it was gonna be a shitty.
Is it about the
documentary.
trial or is it about
Yeah, but they
whole
did it like Netflix style. Like they.
like you could binge watch it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's just.
And
And that's
it's,
the important thing,
Wow.
not what it's about.
yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that you
I don't want to wait a week
Yeah,
to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good, man. Because I remember watching it when I was a kid, right? This is like the 90s, 93, right before high school, 92, 93.
I was born in '93.
Yeah, so we were like going through high school or just getting started there. And,
I can remember seeing the original video and like.
94, 95, I take that back, yeah.
I can remember seeing it and my parents watching it, but not really knowing what was going on.
I remember liking O.J. Simpson. Like, he was funny. He was in movies and stuff.
Oh yeah, OJ was the fucking shit. That's how. Yeah, you should watch it. It's
So
really
you
good.
think of him differently.
Wasn't O.J. Simpson in the Naked Gun film?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's in jail right now?
He is?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
shit, man.
No, he's
That's-
criminal.
I mean, you know about the O.J. Simpson
Well,
trial,
I know
right? That's
of it, but
Okay.
it's really embarrassing. But my only knowledge of the O.J. Simpson is through a Family Guy episode where where Peter meets him.
Yeah.
and
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was probably. I would have to say that it was probably the case of this. Probably one of the biggest cases of our century.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the 20th century.
Easily.
I know he was a famous sportsman. I don't know. Football.
American
was,
football.
was it? Okay, so he was a famous football player.
Yeah.
And then didn't he have was it a pool party or something? Did he have? Was that
no,
what
he
did
was
have?
he was just a jealous.
Sorry, I'm thinking.
So the world loved. Everybody loved O.J. Simpson, right?
Yeah.
Because he was just a character. He's like he was. He had this gig with Hertz Rent a Car. So in the black community he was kind of coming up, right? Everybody's like yay, and then everybody just kind of loved him because he was a sports hero, right? Like an abnormal sports hero, and but he had like a little screw loose that everybody kind of just like was okay with, like that's just OJ being OJ. And anyway, he the whole case is around his ex-wife at the time, and a dude that was at her house.
What was his name? Ron Perlman?
Ron Goldman, I think, or something. Yeah. Anyway,
Silverman.
they just got savage.
Yeah. Ron something.
They got savagely murdered, right? And it's crazy because immediately you're like, oh, it's OJ did it, right? Because like you start looking at all the evidence and there's like blood everywhere and it's like a mix of OJs and stuff. And you're like, this is a case that's like the evidence
Clear
is
cut.
so hard.
Shut and close.
So yeah, he's so guilty that it's like a chew-in. This is what the LAPD said, right? So OJ's got a couple of things going for him. One, the Rodney King riots had happened like 2 years ago, so there's still like this huge pressure from that, right? So the cops are like they're walking on eggshells. They're the LAPD doesn't want to mess anything up. They don't want to start another riot. So everything that they're doing is like we got to be very careful and honest, with honest, good intentions.
That's kind of what's happening right now again.
Yeah, it's kind of coming back in full cycle, full circle. And but so what ends up happening is like OJ has buddies, these lawyers are like the dream team lawyers, right? Throughout the country in the United States, which makes them probably some of the best in the world because we are like a litigating country. It's what we do is sue each other. And so all of a sudden, like he's putting together this team of lawyers and all of this hard evidence, and it's happening like you said. It all kind of comes full circle in a lot of different ways, right? Because the O.J. Simpson defense strategy is pretty much to manipulate the media and manipulate the perception. Like if we can just kind of like obfuscate the facts, if we can just kind of like make those secondary, but attack characters in the LAPD. And then, and deflect a bunch of stuff. Most people are just going to kind of focus on the emotional side of things as opposed to like the hard DNA evidence and stuff, right?
It's the media.
Yeah, it's the media manipulation that Cochran and Bob Shapiro and all those guys are like kind of like famous for. Like this whole like get emotionally outraged, and that's kind of how this whole thing kind of goes. It becomes like this huge media circus, and you kind of get an inside look at how easily manipulative the judicial system is in this country when you have enough money. Those guys took DNA evidence and discounted it, like completely destroyed it because they had a credible expert that was smarter than the other guy who collected the evidence, right?
These experts or
Yeah, these are all experts.
Well, no, but the thing is like these. There's a specific name that they use for them. Expert witness, right?
Yeah. The paid ones,
Yeah.
you think? Yeah.
There are people that make a career out
Oh
of that.
yeah.
But that doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't. No.
But
Expert
because they
testimonial,
use it-
yeah.
Yeah. And you can just be like expert in your field.
I got a friend. Yeah, I got a
You just
friend that does it all the time.
It's a scripted, like, I'm going to ask you these questions. It'd be like, I know you.
Yeah.
Let's just call you an expert in music. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions about music. You're going to answer
Give
it the
you
way
your-
that I want you to. They're going to cross it.
Right. Wait. Yeah. They're gonna.
And here's your check.
Yeah. They're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That's every day. Yeah. I got a buddy who does that for surgery, or I don't think he's like getting paid to like skew he's gonna add. Maybe he does. Maybe he does get paid to like say something in a way that's going to help the defense or the prosecution or something.
Well, they probably get his opinion first,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, okay, he agrees with us. so
We'll
we're
use
gonna
it,
do that.
or we won't use it.
What's sad is it even translates into our world.
Yeah.
The fact that there are crickets and the
Oh, yeah.
gree is an example. I had a professor who was in a case and used as an expert witness
Yeah.
and not lying under oath had to say like, yes, like if they had been using a gree, this wouldn't have happened and this person wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
And that changed
The whole narrative.
that changed our entire industry because
Yeah.
of that.
And a gree is a belay device for
Right.
climbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget this.
Go for it, man. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So-
really. So here's
He's
a.
not wearing his wetsuit.
The really interesting thing about this whole case was it just got weird. Like you if it were a screenplay, it would be like, wow, this is a good screenplay, But this all shit. Like Mark Furman. Like you've heard that name, right?
Oh yeah, he's the one they pinned everything on.
So Mark Furman collected all the evidence at the very beginning of this crime, right? And
because he said a racist joke years ago, right?
dude, he said a lot of
Did he?
racist shit, like more racist shit than I've heard any racist person ever say.
And now
right?
he's like a correspondent on Fox News.
I would not be surprised, man. After this, again, because I remember we were kids, right? And I'm watching them home from school, and I'm watching the OJ case, and I'm excited, rooting for OJ to win, right? I don't know any better. I just know I didn't really like the cops.
Yeah.
It's
And
really funny. Both of you have said, because we were talking about this earlier, both of you have said that you thought OJ was gonna you were on OJ's side.
yeah, and you can see why in the show, which is really interesting too, right? Because it's you can see how there was this kind of bullying going on with the jury, for example, right? It's just they're 8 months. They're 8 months into this thing. The jury is they're literally held captive. You can't watch TV. You can't see your family, but once a week, you're locked up in a hotel room. You have these deputies that are sitting there screaming at you like military drill sergeants, telling you what you can and can't do.
And they're getting paid $2 a day.
They're slaves. They're locked in, not slaves, but they're held
have
captive.
Room service though.
Maybe, I don't know, but
If I had room service, I could stay there for a while.
Yeah.
yeah,
They got to write books.
it's
afterwards.
nasty.
Probably made some
Yeah,
money off it.
So
They got a record deal.
Yeah.
they all did. I'm sure they all did. But it was crazy. You could see this buildup of okay, fuck you guys, fuck the LAPD, fuck the whole judicial system. It's a big scam, and this guy's gonna walk. Nobody liked the. There was the Marsha, whatever her name was, the lead prosecutor. They had a black dude in there that was kind of, it got into this kind of race thing because Johnny Cochran got involved
Yeah.
a month or so into the
Oh,
whole
they're
thing.
playing into the whole.
Oh man, it got just so it was interesting. It was really cool. So you should really see it. But I don't know where I went off with that. But it's just
The worst thing that came out of the O.J. Simpson trial was the Kardashians.
right.
Yes.
I had no
That
idea
is-
where they came from.
That is why we have the Kardashians right now,
Why?
because their dad was one of the lawyers,
yeah.
and that's what blew
Why does that mean they get a TV show?
because it was
question.
just because they got really famous
Because
from
this
that
is
trial.
America.
But the other lawyers didn't, or just that?
Well, I mean, any lawyer in there is a super
Oh,
they were.
yeah.
I mean, they were all
Super lawyer.
super lawyer.
Like
super.
it.
They were all, I'm sure, well-known lawyers anyway. But this trial, I mean, if you bring up any of these lawyers, they're known for the O.J. Simpson trial.
Really?
Right.
What's the legal culture like in the UK?
Fuck. I
Oh
don't
no,
know.
that's a fucking question.
That's a good
No,
one.
but I mean
I mean, here we sue people for anything.
yeah, that's kind of
I
what I'm
think
thinking
I think
about.
we're on a similar sort of page. I think there's always stories about people coming out who
Everybody wants to make an easy buck. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want to make money,
So there are a lot
I
of
guess you do it.
lawsuits.
So I think we have to be particularly careful.
I think you guys
as well.
should sue Santa Cruz
Yeah.
for making it so easy for you to almost die in the river.
Well,
They
absolutely.
should have had signs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Signs should go up.
They should. Don't have
It's
on this
ridiculous.
river without planning it.
Bloody ridiculous.
Bloody bastards.
Complimentary floaties
Absolutely.
should be there for
There
the
should
ones
be-
who ignore the rules.
there
The
should
gro-
be.
So is it like a documentary style, or is it
It's
like
like-
actors?
It's it's actors.
Okay.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is O.J. Simpson,
All right.
but it's so good. Yeah, it's written I don't know, what's a good show binge watch show on Netflix?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 10 or 12 episodes of that. I think I watched the whole O.J. Simpson thing in 3 days.
So you finished it all.
I'm at the verdict. So it's just like the final
Okay.
episode.
So it's only a one season because Netflix.
Yeah, I
has
think
been
it's just
doing
a
these
story.
things
I think it's
like-
just a story.
Yeah.
Maybe they go off to the next thing. I mean, there's a huge amount of drama there. I mean, like O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson wrote a book called like How I
If I Did It.
If I Did It, This Is How I Do It or something. And I guess the Goldmans bought the rights to it, or not bought the rights, but sued for the rights, and then renamed it something like How I Killed Nicole or so,
Wow.
you know, like it gets crazy. Like so, they're all rich and they all have money and they have a lot of emotion, and they're just doing batshit crazy stuff. You know, it's just nuts. It's a whole nother level.
Well, it was obvious he did it. You know.
Yeah.
I think. And society just.
It's almost
He
like
got-
a
he
pass.
got what's coming to
It was
him,
like a
I guess.
free pass.
What did he end up going to jail for? Like,
Oh yeah, so he ends up going to jail like eventually because he's in Las Vegas and armed robbery. He like breaks into like a
wow, he went
he breaks
downhill.
Yeah, he breaks into a hotel room at like a sports memorabilia show.
Yeah, it had something to do with all his
To
like.
steal like his Heisman Trophy back from a collector or something. They ended up selling it off at like an auction or something. So he's like trying to reclaim his memorabilia, and he's doing it like in an illegal way with a gun, you know. And that sends him like I think he got like 40 years, but I think he's getting off like next year with like good behavior or something. Yeah, I don't know. I think he got a free pass from this whole thing because it was a social thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was OJ
It's like
specifically.
an era. The era of OJ.
Yeah, I think it was just like the jury was pissed off at like the LAPD for being held captive.
Yeah.
You know, and the way they were treated, and then the black community clearly like they were just so emotionally charged that it was like we don't give a shit if he's guilty or not. We're still gonna support him.
Yeah.
And then the LAPD just kind of they had a racist cop. Like the guy that collected all the evidence was a racist who was like known for like lying on reports and shit. Wow. You know, it's like it just could not go any worse for them. You know, so it was really good. I watched this other documentary. It's crazy. This kid. Oh man, this is a trippy one. And
What's the name of it?
I got to find it. I can't remember what it is, but it has to do with these three metalhead kids in like the 80s in this small like I want to say it's like north, like south, like the south, like somewhere in the south.
It's the northern part of the South.
Yeah, I want to say North Dakota. I want to say like North Carolina or something, or South Carolina. You know what I'm talking?
Can we determine what the northern part of the South is?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I was just
North Carolina, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the closest I can think of. That I was thinking of something like the Carolinas or Iowa. I know I'm all over the board here, but
Do you know your geography? Because North Carolina and South Carolina are very different. Than
are they? I have no idea, man. I don't know my
No,
geography.
you say you have no idea. I literally no fucking clue what you
Yeah.
guys are talking about. Like,
Anyway,
I'm just asking because I'm from the east.
you're familiar with that side of the country.
he's
Yes.
from North Carolina.
I know. Oh, okay.
It-
That could be-
you can say anything you want about it. I was just wondering what your.
I had no idea. I'm just throwing out these kids were. This is like a southern setting, right?
Southern setting.
Southern small town setting where these 3 second graders end up murdered in a ravine.
I remember.
You know what I'm
this.
talking
Wasn't it-
about?
Didn't like Satanism or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this.
Oh, it's so
Second
good.
Graders murdered someone.
These 3 second graders were murdered, right, in a very bloody, like evil way, right? I was like, one kid he was castrated. One second grader was literally castrated. Another kid had his like throat slit. Another
Does
kid,
castration kill someone?
yeah, they'll bleed out.
yeah.
They'll bleed
That's a
out.
lot of blood, alright.
It's a lot of blood. It'll kill the shit out of somebody, especially a second grader.
Second-year-old.
Second-year-old.
You know what I mean, right? Yeah. Anyway, very heinous murder, and you know how you guys said something about like we'll be known for this story, right?
Yeah.
We
So-
don't want to be known for that.
You don't want to be known for that, right? Well,
Nick did it.
yeah. So,
All right.
so it's like it's so heinous. This crime is so heinous that it gets this national attention, and of course this is like I want to say it's like a small southern town, so it's like ultra religious. You know,
They
they're
don't
really
have
believing in the
that.
evil stuff. They're really believing in the good stuff. Everybody's like a Baptist, you know. So like everything is over the top, and they go through this long court case, and it almost sounds like the kid that did the real murder was like really smart. He's like this smart kid, and he kind of gets like everybody's kind of dumb, right?
He like manipulates.
Yeah, so he's kind of a manipulator, right? And then he's got like his buddy, like his best friend, who looks like he's 12, but he's like 16. and he's kind of slow, right? And then they have the other kid who's a little bit older than everybody else, and he's even slower. Like he's got an IQ of like 72 or something, right? So the mastermind, the ringleader of this whole thing,
That's not good.
it's probably not good. Ends up the ringleader ends up getting these guys to kind of like aid and abet and assist in all of this shit. And he's doing he literally is like fascinated with Aleister Crowley. And then so Aleister Crowley, and I'm thinking like most of these people that we read about in history, I don't think like Aleister Crowley isn't out there sacrificing children. He's writing about it, and you kind of they have a persona to kind of project, right?
Going home and sacrificing a goat.
Yeah. So this kid's literally taking it like, I got to go kill children and castrate them and suck the blood from their fucking castrated, section, and because it's going to give me vitality and youth. And but his big thing was he wanted to be recognized or known throughout history. That story to be told. And I thought about that for a second, and because he was into this like dark arts thing, right? He was thinking like, he was summoning some kind of devil thing so he could like live eternally or something. And I'm like, I think he kind of pulled it off, having like done this grotesque thing. The compromise was like his life was taken away, but the story is going to live on forever.
How old was
especially
he when this happened?
Fucking like 17.
And what year did this happen in? Like
It was like I want to say it was the early 90s or the late 80s. I think it was like 1990, 91, 92.
So what kind of punishment did they get?
I think the ringleader ended up going to trial for lethal. I think he's on death row in lethal injection.
Yeah.
The dumb kid that's the oldest, I believe, was
The dumb kid.
the 72
Yeah.
IQ. He got life in prison. He got a life sentence plus 240-year sentences. So life plus
So
an
he's
extra
getting out.
80.
Yeah.
He's never getting out. And then the other one,
What does that mean? Like, I get that.
you get awarded, but yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah,
like
but
you're
Like,
locked in.
I think if you get life-
I've heard of life plus a day, but like, what's life plus 8? Like,
It's nothing.
I think
It's a taunt.
I think I've heard if you get life in prison, you're eligible for parole after 20 years.
Okay.
So if you get life plus 80, maybe you gotta wait 100 years
Yeah.
before you're up for parole. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
You ain't getting that.
It's
Yeah.
rough, man. Yeah, but fascinating.
also, isn't there like a heroes get remembered but legends never die? Isn't that thing?
That's probably a good one. But then again, if you're out murdering children, those stories kind of like stick around for a while too.
But it's
Wives'
unfortunate
tales,
people
myths,
are-
Yeah.
eventually.
Stories turns to
Myth.
legends, is it myths first?
Could be. Sounds like it would be. Well, a legend. What's a legend?
You're looking at one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
so full of himself.
Yeah, I was looking over there.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
We're looking at a legend. Well, anyway. Well, you guys, I'm glad you survived, man. That was that sounded like a pretty crazy story. I'm really glad I'm not there because I kept thinking about it. I'm like, man, what if I was like the third guy? Literally, it's like if you had one more person, you probably that guy would have probably been dead. Like I'm just thinking, rolling the dice. Statistically speaking, like 2 was a lot, right? Because two of you guys like you made it out there,
I feel
but
like 3 might have been a gamble, but if we go up to 5 or 6, then
It's-
odds are better.
Yeah, I guess the more
With,
people there are,
as
more
long
to
as we
help
weren't
you.
all in the same boat.
yeah, if you guys
As long as someone makes it.
I like the idea that you guys were drinking a little bit the night before, and then you were drinking while you were there, right?
I don't know if I'd say a
So
little
here's
bit.
the funny thing is, like, we both got up, we had breakfast separate from each other, and got in gear, but we got on the river and we did have a couple of beers packed
Yeah,
because that's what you do.
That's the real reason you went back for the boat.
that's why.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
But they weren't fucking there.
yeah.
Oh.
No, the one thing I was
they got
missing
washed away?
were the 4 beers and my fucking GoPro mount.
Well, of all the shit you lost, I would say you did a pretty good
Don't
job.
tell her.
And a what?
And Lindsay's water
Oh
bottle.
yeah,
Oh.
don't tell her.
I
Don't let her
literally
listen.
told her I won't lose this, and I lost it.
We did lose.
But yeah, that was what.
I can't remember what you're talking about.
What? Yeah, I can't either.
No.
Rewind.
You're still recovering.
Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
drunk. Yeah, we were drunk the night before.
So you guys are drinking, and then you were drinking when you got there, and then you decided to get in the river
I see a
together in the
pattern.
same
That
boat.
was it. We thought about having a beer in one of the comm sections,
Uh-huh.
but we
Little
were
s-
both too hungover.
Oh,
to do
it was like making me gag a little bit thinking about
Like-
it. Like,
What a terrible
I said-
experience. That sounds just so bad. You should be in bed, like nursing that hangover, and here you are, like trying to survive.
And I said, like, should we have one? Like, oh, you know what? We could even split one. So if a rapid comes up fast, we can just like trigger it. But we were both like, no, I think we'll wait.
we had quite a bit the night before. The fact that I woke up at like 11 to a text that's like, today's today.
Well, you and I stayed up until 4 talking.
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, we were up till
Yeah.
4 in the morning.
I wish I was there.
Jeez.
I love
And
it
eating
too.
potato
you were,
chips.
You were until 2, and then you passed out like a little
But I
bitch.
was just like, I'm off. I thought the party was lingering down.
There was plenty more beer to drink. You just went
Yeah.
home.
You fucked off.
I did. Fuck off. I did fuck off. I went and fucked off. I made my little bed. I went to
Out.
sleep. Oh, do you know, before I went to sleep that night, I thought I might be sick. So I was like, I need to find something to be sick in so I don't have to leave my bed. And I found a saucepan, and I took the saucepan and I put it next to my bed. Thankfully, I wasn't ever sick.
I'm glad you didn't throw up, man.
Yeah,
That's good.
Because
I
the
feel
next
like
day I
if
was
you had
like,
hit
"Dude,
that, it just would have splattered
yeah,
and
but
gone
imagine
everywhere.
throwing up in someone's sauce. It's not my saucepan.
If you're
it's
gonna
someone else's.
spew into this.
Yeah.
A saucepan.
Are you saying a saucepan?
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Saucepan.
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 That
I
is-
had to
that is saucepan.
interpret for you less than I was expecting.
Curtis is my interpreter.
I've got to wee in a saucepan.
Yeah.
I got the wee wee in a saucepan.
No, he had his wetsuit on.
Oh, here you
It's
go.
all alright. I can't believe you guys don't do that. You need to get
No,
a
I-
wetsuit.
Nah, it's
my
pretty
wetsuit.
popular. I mean, somebody told me that you know, like a good brand new wetsuit, something you probably don't want to piss in because it's gonna linger in there for a while.
Imagine
Well,
you-
it's not so much that you shouldn't. It's just that eventually it's gonna smell because
it's acidic as well. isn't it?
neoprene soaks things.
Yeah, right.
It's a permeable.
That's kind of why it
material.
works, doesn't it?
Right.
You know, it's kind of like
Absolutely.
taking advantage of the body heat and the fact that it is permeable. It's got the little layer. I don't know. I don't know anything about thermodynamics.
I was told
I
by
know physicists.
someone
Yeah.
the sign
Jesus.
of a good wetsuit is if you can pee in it and it doesn't run out at your ankles.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
That's
you could-
my little test.
If you could wee in it.
I call that the nick test. If it runs out by your foot, then
It's gonna be cold out there.
But if it runs out by your crotch, then you got a problem. I think.
Oh yeah.
It's leaking a little bit.
And if it comes out in the armhole, it's
And
running.
something's
If
fucking
you're really
going
in
on there.
trouble.
Oh.
Jesus.
That makes me
You're
want to
pissing
vomit
by
just thinking
yourself.
about it.
Yeah, you can vomit a lot.
Pissing in wetsuits. Should you do it? Up next.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Find out at 11.
I'll find out at 11. Yeah.
I spoke to my friends about this in England, and they were like, "No, that's not normal. Normal people don't do it." And I'm glad I've come over to the US and find out it's still not normal.
Nah, it's pretty normal.
Wait.
Oh,
wait.
okay.
Normal, yes, peeing in wetsuit or normal?
They were like, "No, they're pretty horrified."
You know what's funny is that everybody who doesn't wear a wetsuit, like on a normal basis, like you're new and you're like going to start surfing for the first time, they piss in the wetsuits. Like that's the only thing people know about wetsuits is like, hey, you can pee in them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can pee in them.
That's the last thing I'd want to do.
What? Why?
I just don't like the idea of my pee being all over my body.
Yeah, but it doesn't like a little
Like
bit
if you're in the
of water.
ocean.
The thing is, there's a little water washes in and
Little bit of-
Yeah, but I'm so grossed out by things. I puke when I pick up my dog shit every day.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So the thought of my pee just like going all over my body makes
Sensitive.
Me, ugh.
Sensitive.
Hey, man.
I'm sensitive.
Sensitive.
Absolutely.
Sensitive to the bodily waste. That's how it goes. So sometimes. Yeah?
Something.
That's why I don't have kids. Couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. Could you imagine that? Just
Oh,
what am I doing with myself? Why am I doing this? This is not fun at all. Well, cool. What do you guys think? You want to kind of button it up?
sure.
Hang out?
We got a couple hours in almost.
Yeah, shit. That's
Wow.
an hour 47.
What's the average time for?
Well, yeah, we got like 3 or 4, but you
Yeah,
guys
3
are
or 4?
you guys are kind of boring,
That's
so we'll go ahead and kill it.
That's the longest you've gone, 3 or 4?
Now we've gotten pretty for like over 3, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
we've gone over 3. But the last like probably 5 have been about an hour.
We kind of feel like that's where we are.
Edit this down.
Nah, we just kind of pop them up there.
Yeah.
Get it all.
Shoot from the hip.
Shoot from the hip.
I like it.
Ain't nobody got time to edit shit.
That's what we did in the river and see how that ended up.
Yeah, you guys probably want to see. This is a little more controlled because they got cameras going back and forth and
Yeah.
facilitating.
He's doing
We
things
can
over
put
there.
some water in here and make it interesting.
We could, and that would just ruin the whole show. I think. And there would go.
How high would we have to get the water?
How high is the
before
water,
show?
Mama?
would get
3 feet high and rising.
3 feet.
There's plugs on the walls, isn't there? I reckon not that high. If you're
Yeah, we'd lose the juice.
Are you guys doing any social media stuff these days? You on Facebook or Instagram or anything?
Yeah.
Nick?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your how can people find you if they want to be your buddy?
Nick. Well, Instagram Nick Rose 1993.
Nick 993.
Yeah.
No,
Nick
no.
Rose.
1993.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to get my translator.
Nick Rose 1993.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
you don't say the teen?
19.
993.
993.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like
I heard 993.
That's what I heard
Sorry,
too.
1993.
Well, yeah, that was
Yeah.
I apologise.
993.
That's it.
I don't hear the teen.
Oh,
Nine-
Sale.
Yeah, to be fair, now I've said it back to myself.
9993.
993.
Nick.
Not free.
No, 1993.
All right. And
yeah.
Curtis, how about you, buddy?
Not a big fan.
Are you not doing much of of the internets?
My mom actually just got really mad at me because you keep posting shit.
Sorry.
Getting you in trouble with all
It
this danger?
tags me.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Did you
"Why-
almost die again?
Why can't I see things that you post?" It's like, because I don't post anything.
Ah.
And
So
so,
things I post you can't see.
no, you're not following.
I'm so sorry. I apologise.
No
Please stop.
comprende?
Absolutely. We've got an hour left to make 3 hours, Mason. You got a long time to explain.
No, so because when other people post things and tag me, she can see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I never post anything.
Yeah.
But she assumes that I'm somehow blocking that from her.
What is it with moms? They love social
Okay,
media.
But here's the thing. I left it in the friend request land for over a year.
Your mom?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
was
bad.
A year.
That must have
I
been awkward
almost
Christmas
didn't even
dinner.
accept it because I was so pissed that she was even on social media.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
Why?
I don't want to deal with this.
Violation of my personal rights.
Granted,
Yeah.
at that time, I was consuming a lot more alcohol and people were taking pictures and posting them, so I didn't want her to
Yeah.
see that. But now she just assumes that
You're
because
hiding
she
shit.
doesn't see things about me.
You
that
must
I'm
be
hiding
blocking
it.
me.
But it's just the fact that I don't give two shits about. The only reason I don't delete Facebook is because it's connected to so
Yeah.
many things.
Yeah.
That's
That's
yeah.
how
And it
We
means
talk
I would
about that
have-
every week, I think.
I would have to reset so many passwords and create username, all this crap. So he posts things like you've posted several things, and I have no
Several things,
issues
man.
with
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
You've tagged me in things. My mom was like,
I'll tag
literally
you,
the other
yeah.
less than a week ago, I had a conversation with her, and she's like, "Why do you block me for things?" I was like, we've literally had this conversation at least 4 times, if not more. Like I can count 4. It's probably more. And she's like, "No." I was like, "No, I don't like it. I don't care, whatever." Instagram, I follow people. I look at things
Yeah.
and like I post things, and they're mostly shit. Like whatever.
So if you want to connect with Curtis through Nick. That way,
Yeah.
when Nick
Or
tags Curtis,
yes, absolutely.
you'll get some action.
There you go. If you want to see his beautiful face.
But he's leaving me in 4 days.
Yeah, I know.
Ah,
So you're just gonna see other
not
stories.
fair.
Apparently, I have to go to England. now. He can't just keep coming to the States. I have
You
to go.
should can't. It should be a social exchange.
You should feel it. You should
Yeah,
feel the same
absolutely. You're all invited. That's
pleasure
what
of
we're-
flying overseas.
Yeah, and you can get to see the shit.
Dog in?
It is nice
Yeah.
on
Max, if
international
you want to go
flights.
dogging, we can
Every drink is free, no matter where you're sitting.
Oh.
And no, I'm not going dogging.
We can
with
go
you.
dogging. We'll find a dogging spot.
Although it would be kind of funny.
It's funny. From the time
I would
I've
definitely
seen it,
Google
it's-
all the things rather than just showing up there and like flashing my lights or honking the horn.
You don't actually want to join in. You just want to piss them
They're
off.
talking about rest stop adventures.
Rest stop
yeah.
adventures on the
That's
Okay,
that's
I
the
think you guys
best.
have dogging.
That's the England equivalent of dogging, I guess.
Dogging.
dogging. Oh, really? The gay meetup spots on the freeway?
I don't
But they're not
No.
necessarily gay.
It's
They're
any
not.
kind of meetup. Apparently.
I think. There's
And it's a
di-
spectator sport.
Dogging specifically for beat up stuff, I think is called something else. I think everyone has a name. Like dogging is just like.
You dogging me, bro?
just,
You be dogging me, bro?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you dogging me, bro? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
There's other words. I think, yeah.
It's fascinating.
I'll have to update you sometime, I guess. And I'll find out.
It's I heard rest stops are the grinder of the freeway. Is that true? The grinder of the
I
freeway?
wouldn't know.
You said, yeah.
Yeah. Subject knowledge expert over here.
Yeah.
Yes, they certainly are, yeah. Absolutely.
How do you think I met these two guys?
Yeah, look at
I swiped right.
this. 2 peas in the pod right here.
I love that you swiped right this way.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hell with it.
The other right.
Yeah.
Thank you
And,
guys for having us.
oh yeah, thanks for coming out, man. It was fun having you. You come on anytime. This is
It might be easier for me than him, but yes.
Possibly.
yeah,
I might
yeah.
have to get a play.
We'll get you on Skype and we'll just like
Oh,
He
actually.
You know-
also might move here. Do you know anyone that might want to marry him? Like,
No, that's how I need to move. I need to find someone.
depends on how much money you got, man.
Not much.
I could find people. You just got to have the cash to do it.
Not much.
Look at this body. Why
There's
does he
gold
need
diggers in
money?
America everywhere.
Yeah.
Gold diggers everywhere.
Uh,
And Max, how can people find you, my friend?
At Max on the Rocks.
At Max on the Rocks on Instagram. Okay, we're out of here. So with that being said, I'm gonna head over to the old. Well, that's not gonna work. Bam. It was fun, you guys. We'll see you later. Bye bye.
Peace out.
I love that.